Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. The End of the World, Reviving Humanity. Many Children and Many Blessings. Chapter 61. 8 Newborn Children, 5 Sons and 3 Daughters. The 7th son, Chen Shen. Bazi, Chen Wu. Juzi, Chen Pang. The 10th son, Chen Lai. 11th son, Chen Jin. The 5th daughter, Chen Lei. 6th daughter, Chen Si. The 7th daughter, Chen Ling. Chen Chu's number of heirs suddenly increased from 10 to 18. Moreover, the 8 new heirs are all quite talented. The lowest is B grade. And there are 2 A stage 1s. The 10th son Chen Lai has the A-level fire element, and the 7th daughter Chen Ling has the A-level resurgence wind. Maybe it's because I'm getting stronger and stronger. These concubines that gave birth to children were selected and snatched from the entire Zhonghai city by my father. They are all B and C levels. Looking at the property panel of the 8 descendants, Chen Chu was very satisfied. It is estimated that if he continues to be born like this, his descendants may be able to form the Encyclopedia of Apocalyptic Superpowers. But it's okay. The more capable the heirs are, the more complete the family will be. This time Shizi is a fire type in the ice apocalypse, and it is also A-level. The 7th girl is of the rare wind type. They can help the family fill the original capacity gaps. These days, Chen Chu has been staying in the medical department, taking care of his wife and concubines, and waiting for the birth of his children. Now finally all 8 wives and concubines have given birth. Chen Chu breathed a sigh of relief. After bringing the wives home from the medical department, Chen Chu immediately got into the practice room, opened the system. Detect host offspring +8, obtain any reward +8, intermediate 3-dimensional reward +2, low-level 3-dimensional reward +6. The reward of 8 heirs. This is the most accumulated rewards Chen Chu has ever accumulated. Chen Chu, who was in urgent need of improving his strength, almost did not hesitate and immediately chose to receive it. First, there are 8 random rewards. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10% poison immunity physical characteristic. Congratulations to the host for obtaining elite level boxing proficiency. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Rage. Congratulations to the host for obtaining A-level ability blind box. Congratulations to the host for obtaining elite body skill mastery. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10% defense bonus physical characteristic. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10% damage rebound physical characteristic. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 20% recovery physical characteristic. Several tingling sensations go straight to the Tianling cap. Chen Chu felt that he was several times stronger. This time, there are many rewards for physical characteristics. Physical attributes are rewards that directly enhance strength. After the body has received these rewards, Chen Chu set his sights on the A-level blind box. Super blind box. Chen Chu is only seen in novice rewards. My own space system abilities are also developed from it. Double talented person. After opening this blind box, Chen Chu will have the next day's talent. Become a dual talent. A-level, already very good. But, I still have 8 3-dimensional enhancements that can increase the level of my powers. Chen Chu smiled and immediately received the power blind box first. A black vortex immediately appeared in front of him. A huge colored light die with question marks flashing on all 6 sides appeared in front of the whirlpool. Chen Chu threw the dice without hesitation. The colorful dice rolled and finally settled. A card is drawn from the dice. The pattern on the card. It was countless flaming meteorites falling towards a planet. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained A-level power, gravity. Gravity. Chen Chu's eyes lit up. Another special ability. After acceptance is complete, Chen Chu focused his attention on a Coke can on the titanium alloy table next to him. His eyes locked and his brows furrowed slightly. The can was immediately crushed out of thin air. The level of gravity is first level. After searching for some more things and experimenting, Chen Chu determined the power and level of the new talent. After determining the rank, Chen Chu did not choose to receive the 3-dimensional enhancement immediately. Instead, he took out a handful of zombie crystal cores from the supernatural space. Gravity talent rotation. All the zombie crystal nuclei were reduced to nothing. 2 black lights appeared on Chen Chu. 3rd level. After consuming hundreds of blue zombie crystal cores, the new talent Gravity successfully promoted him to the 3rd level peak. Promoting from level 3 to level 4 is a threshold. Simply absorbing zombie crystal cores will not allow supernatural powers to break through. Feel the bottleneck difficulty coming from your body. Chen Chu immediately ordered in his mind. Receive 3 low-level 3-dimensional enhancements. Low-level 3-dimensional promotion *3, received successfully. Low-level HP increased by +3. Low-level potential increased by +3. Low-level abilities increased by +3. After the body numbness disappears, another black light flashed across Chen Chu's body. Gravity, 4th order. Grade, A. 3 low-level 3-dimensional upgrades, allowing the gravity talent to cross the bottleneck of upgrading from the 3rd level to the 4th level. And the grade was promoted from A to A. At the same time, it also loosened the bottleneck of the S+ level space system abilities, from the 7th level to the 8th level, but the level did not change. Come again. Chen Chu had a thought. A large handful of red crystal nuclei appeared in his hands. Absorb. Single quote. The gravity talent is running wildly. 2 hours later, Chen Chu opened his eyes. 4th order, the pinnacle. Being rich and talented is capricious. Destroy the zombie army and let him get more than 10,000 zombie crystal nuclei. Don't worry about how to increase energy at all. S-level potential and A-level talent make the energy absorption faster than ordinary people. Early, mid, late, peak. These small stage breakthroughs are not a problem for Chen Chu at all. As for the big bottleneck of leapfrogging, then choose 3-dimensional promotion to break through. Receive 3 more low-level 3-dimensional rewards. Low-level 3-dimensional promotion *3, received successfully. Low-level HP increased by +3. Low-level potential increased by +3. Low-level abilities increased by +3. Another black light flickered. Gravity talent rank, Tier 5. Talent, A+. There are 2 more intermediate 3-dimensional upgrades to come. There was some fanaticism in Chen Chu's eyes. Piles of zombie nuclei appeared in front of him. He put his hand on the pile of zombie crystal nuclei. The middle stage of the 5th order, the late stage of the 5th order, and the peak of the 5th order. In 3 hours, a small pile of zombie crystal nuclei was consumed. The level of gravity talent has also reached the peak of the 5th level. The next step is to break through the 6th level. Receive 2 intermediate 3-dimensional upgrades. Intermediate 3-dimensional promotion *2, received successfully. Intermediate life boost +2. Intermediate potential increase +2. Intermediate powers increased by +2. A black halo that was more dazzling than before rose from the bottom of Chen Chu's feet. And a blue halo also rose together. New talent, Gravity, Tier 6, Level, S. The original talent, Space, has been promoted from the 7th level to the 8th level. It's not over yet. More zombie nuclei appeared out of thin air. Chen Chu stretched out his hands, frantically absorbing energy. 1 black and 1 blue, 2 energy vortexes appeared in the palm of Chen Chu. Gravity ability. Mid-6th order, late 6th order, peak 6th order. Spatial abilities. Middle 8th order, late 8th order, peak 8th order. Another 3 hours passed. Chen Chu opened his eyes and let out a long breath of white air. He felt stronger than ever. He was so strong that he was about to explode. Open the Host Properties panel. Host Properties panel. Name, Chen Chu. Identity, Clan Leader. Age, 21 years old. Talent, S+ level space system, freezing, S level gravity. Potential, S. Physical characteristics, S level healing, spiritual consciousness, 15% poison immunity, 10% defense bonus, 10% damage rebound, 20% body recovery. Strength, the 8th order peak of S+ level space system, the 6th level peak of S level gravity. Skills, basic skills of space talent, basic skills of gravity talent, elite physical skills, elite spear skills, elite boxing skills, elite body skills, berserk, deep palace 36 skills. Chen Chu looked at the data changes on the panel. In addition to the extra new abilities, physical characteristics and skills. 5% immunity to zombie virus, merged into 10% immunity to toxicity, and became 15% immunity to toxicity. There is still S level potential, promoted to S. The original talent of the space department has also come from the peak of the 7th level to the peak of the 8th level. Chen Chu carefully felt the great changes in his body. Compared with before receiving the reward, it is probably dozens of times stronger. Before receiving the reward, my comprehensive strength was at the peak of the 8th order. Now, the strength is at least the peak of the 9th order. Or, stronger. The overall strength, the 9th level peak, has been achieved. This is a powerful feeling that surges through the body like never before. A thought, perception, an invisible wave spread outward from Chen Chu's brain. Everything in the entire Spark City was discerned by Chen Chu. The radius is about 30 kilometers. Centered on Chen Chu. The peak S+ level space power of the 8th level can extend to a radius of 30 kilometers. Back and forth, left and right, up and down. It turns out that there really is a vein of doomsday around Spark City, but the great is not good, the highest is only C. Let me go. 20 kilometers below Spark City is actually the lair of a mid-level 8th level monster. Fortunately, this monster has not been restless in these decades. Otherwise, with my father's previous mid-7th level strength, Spark City was easily destroyed. But now, Chen Chu had a thought. Space powers enter the monster's brain and cut. The mid-8th level monster died in its sleep. Its truck-sized corpse appeared in Chen Chu's supernatural space. With the novelty of the first time, Chen Chu frantically began to explore the situation within a radius of 30 kilometers around Spark City. Kill all monsters within this range, and then put the corpses into the supernatural space. His current superpower space is a super large space of 1000 x 1000 x 1000. Putting some monster corpses there is no problem at all. After clearing all the surrounding monsters, Chen Chu moved all the scattered mineral veins around to the edge of Spark City. As long as Spark City expands, it will definitely be found. Another big surprise for Dad. Chen Chu conveniently buried the 50 tons of sparkling stones he harvested when building underground passages near Spark City. Dad used to be envious of the radiant stone mines that were dug during the expansion of large cities. Now that Chen Chu has the ability, he is naturally satisfied. After everything is done, Chen Chu felt the entire Spark City with satisfaction. A sense of accomplishment arises from playing an infrastructure game. All dangers in the surrounding area have been eliminated, and all the mineral veins have been moved nearby. Chen Chu's face was filled with joy, but he still felt like something was missing. This underground is not very safe after all. Human beings can build camps underground, basically relying on Earth-type supernatural beings to show their power. But the fundamentals of Spark City are not good. For so many years, I have relied on 2 sea-level and 5th-level Earth-type superpowers. Therefore, hidden dangers remain in many places. In Chen Chu's eyes, it was full of loopholes. He was able to destroy Spark City without any effort. The upper and lower soil layers need to be thickened. With a thought, space skill, space compression. The soil layers above and below Spark City were compressed to an extremely stiff state. If only one part is compressed alone, it may cause a collapse hazard. But Chen Chu completely compressed the entire soil surrounding Spark City in an instant. And at the same time, soil layers were moved from other places to fill the empty places. This is even more perfect. Chen Chu has achieved a lot. If Spark City has new development needs in the future, he can also lift the hard soil layer in an instant. Because gravity, Chen Chu started to try out the new abilities he had obtained. For a moment, it was like a big mountain appeared on Chen Chu, making him bend down unconsciously. Fortunately, the power level of gravity is only the peak of the 6th level, which is not enough to have a serious impact on him. But gravity. For a moment, Chen Chu felt like a big mountain had been lifted off his body, and his body became extremely light. He tapped lightly with his legs and his whole body floated up. Gravity and anti-gravity. This is the most basic gameplay of the new talent. Moonstep. Chen Chu is suspended in the air. The person immediately becomes an afterimage. Appear in another place. After reducing the gravity on myself, I don't need to use strong force to push back when using moon steps. So, my moon steps are finally silent. The combination of your various abilities can make you stronger. Next, Chen Chu explored more ways to play. While using elite body skills, reducing your own gravity can double your speed. When using elite-level boxing techniques and condensing the gravity power into both fists, your punches will be heavier and stronger. When punching, the gravity is reduced, and the speed of the punch will become extremely fast. Alternate use of gravity and anti-gravity. Let the elite-level boxing show its power far beyond his level. Just relying on elite-level boxing skills plus elite-level body skills plus elite-level physical skills, I can fight back and forth with 7th-level superpowers. If you are punching, coupled with the alternation of gravity and anti-gravity, you have to be careful even if you are weak to the 8th level. Quote. Chen Chu looked at his fist and smiled. Strong, simply ridiculously strong. Just a small gravity talent skill paired with ancient martial arts can have such power. What if it's space system plus gravity? A mysterious smile appeared on Chen Chu's face. Now his superpower space is larger and he can put down more hills. Coupled with the stronger space power, he can move the hilltop to 30,000 meters in the air. And, now with the gravity talent, not only can he increase the power of the justice from heaven move, and it can determine the landing point of the boulder. There are 900,000 zombies left in the Zombie King City, it's safe. He also gave these zombies a taste of the apocalypse of natural disaster. As for the Corpse King, he rioted just to find more flesh and blood to break through to the 9th level. But Chen Chu's overall personal strength has exceeded the 9th level peak. So what if the Corpse King breaks through the 9th level? 900,000 zombies, a natural disaster is coming. The Corpse King is not enough for Chen Chu to fight alone. Perfect, Corpse King City is sure of it. Since now you don't have to worry about the Corpse King City threatening your family. Chen Chu was also in a good mood. With the victory over Corpse King City, my father will become stronger, Spark City will develop even more, and my quality of life will naturally improve. You can also have more concubines, and you will be blessed with more children. Quote. Chen Chu nodded with satisfaction. Many children bring blessings, must many children bring blessings. Only by continuing to have more children and more blessings can we better protect our family. This time the Corpse King City is an example. I don't know how long I've been here, it's time to go out. After receiving the reward, I have become familiar with the strength of my whole body, and the big stone weighing on my heart has been removed. Chen Chu opened the practice room and walked out. Husband just went out. The first thing Chen Chu saw was his wife Yi Miao, who was full of worry. He glanced at it. The other 17 concubines, even Xiao Chao, whose belly has obviously bulged, are also waiting here. And judging from their appearance, they have been waiting for a long time. Husband, you haven't come out all day, which scared us. Yi Miao stepped forward and held his hand. Chen Chu felt warm and reached out to rub Yi Miao's head. Looking at the concubines who were worried about him, they all had thick dark circles under their eyes. His heart moved inexplicably. Then he comforted them one by one and coaxed them to sleep. In the end, only his wife Yi Miao was left, and she yawned lightly. Husband, since you are fine, then I. Chen Chu pulled her with a smile on his lips. You're not allowed to leave. How long has it been since we lasted together? Yi Miao was stunned for a moment. Didn't it just happen the day before yesterday? Well, a week later, on the eve of the riots in Corpse King City. Both Spark City and Raging Fire City have entered a citywide alert state, with all personnel preparing for war. This day, Chen Chu accompanied Yi Miao out of the medical department. Yi Miao held Chen Chu's arm with one hand and gently touched her belly with the other. She raised her head and looked at Chen Chu with happiness in her eyes. Husband, after more than 3 years, I am finally pregnant with your child again. Although Chen Chu had 18 wives and concubines in total. But the one with the deepest feelings and the closest relationship is his wife Yi Miao. Yi Miao is beautiful, gentle and generous. My wife Yi Miao takes care of many things in the whole family, both inside and outside. She is a good wife of Chen Chu. There is also a wife here. My concubines are so harmonious and love each other. This time, my wife is pregnant again after more than 3 years. Chen Chu was naturally extremely happy. Immediately hold a banquet at home. All kinds of materials that had disappeared in the apocalypse were generously taken out. Of course, if there are good things, you will never forget your father. As for his son's invitation, Chen Lei, of course, put aside all his affairs and came here. In his words, no matter how big the Corpse King city is it as big as my little boy? Is it as big as my little grandson? Come on, Xiaohan, give me a hug from Grandpa. As soon as I walked in, Chen Lei caught his eldest grandson Chen Han, who was 3.5 years old. Here comes a man with beard and prickly face. Chen Han, who is only 3.5 years old, is actually 1.6 meters tall. The face shape, nose bridge, etc. inherit Chen Chu's handsomeness. Her eyebrows have inherited the beauty of her mother Yi Miao. The whole person looks like a handsome young lady. And he is already a mid-level 3rd level superpower. Chen Chu is the eldest son, has mid-level 3rd level strength, and is the tallest and strongest among the 18 children. Chen Han naturally became the child king among the children. He took his younger brothers and sisters out all day long to challenge little monsters. And you dare to beat level 4 monsters at level 3. And even won. This made him even more confident. They are all beginning to prepare to challenge the 5th level monsters. After Chen Lei heard this, he laughed loudly, domineeringly. As expected of my old Chen family. He also took time out of his busy schedule to personally deliver a bunch of extraordinary fruits with ice attributes to his eldest grandson Chen Han. He also personally taught him a few killer moves in combat. What's more important is, this kid also practiced several killing moves very well. Defeat all the 3rd level and 4th level superpowers in Spark City. Make people exclaim. Is this 3.5 years old? Chen Chu's mouth twitched after hearing this. Fortunately, the eldest son Chen Han was well educated by his wife. In addition to being a fighting maniac, regardless of whether it is for parents, grandfather, brothers, sisters, and little mothers, they all have great respect and love. And his academic performance is also very good. In the last days, fighting is inevitable, and the eldest son Chen Han. His father originally trained him as the 3rd generation successor. It's better to contact them early. What's more, Chen Chu can understand the situation of the entire Spark City. There is no need to worry about the safety of the heirs. If Zixi encounters a difficult monster, Chen Chu can kill it with just a thought. Moreover, his father also arranged 6th level secret guards for these little villains. There is absolutely no need to worry about the safety of the heirs. At the banquet, this is the first time the family has such a neat gathering. Chen Chu and his father drank and chatted happily. The wives and concubines talked and laughed. The children all ate and turned into kittens. Gee, ha ha ha, this meal is really enjoyable. After the meal, Chen Chu and his father talked alone in the living room. The wives and concubines went to the 2nd floor to escape. The eldest son Chen Han and his younger brothers and sisters hid at the top of the stairs and eavesdropped. Dad, how is the situation in Corpse King City? Chen Chu goes straight to the point. He must go this time. Otherwise, he would worry about something happening to his father. After all, the Corpse King wants to be promoted to the 9th rank, and there are still 900,000 zombies in the Corpse King City. Dad lit his cigar and put it in his mouth. Before I came here, I received a tip-off that the city of Shiwang, which had been in turmoil, suddenly fell silent. So Xiaozhang and I decided to lead the team to the Corpse King City tomorrow. Chen Chu nodded. In the past 6 months, the Corpse King City has been continuously expanding the scope of activities. Not long ago, a 100,000 zombie army was sent out. It is obvious that they are about to attack in an all-round way. But now suddenly there is silence. Such an abnormal behavior can only explain one problem. The Corpse King has finished digesting the Gorfiend giant tree. He is about to break through the 9th level. It's just recently that 1 million zombies have left the city. It's strange to say. Dad frowned, smoking a cigar. The zombie army sent by the Corpse King unexpectedly encountered a natural disaster, and the entire army was wiped out. This is the end of the world. Natural disasters keep coming, and even zombies can't escape. The Corpse King should have lost contact with the zombie army, so the progress has been accelerated. But fortunately, we have prepared in advance. The destruction of the zombie army is also a good thing for us. And, Chen Lei raised his fist like a sandbag. The whole body is bronze in color, and flashes with dazzling thunder. The last time I took the bronze lightning liquid that your kid discovered, my strength has doubled several times. Moreover, it also absorbed the purple beast core of that guardian beast. In the game of Corpse King City, the probability of winning is very high. Ha 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 ha. Purple Beast Core, Chen Chu thought. He took out 2 purple beast cores of different sizes and handed them to Chen Lei. It was obtained when killing monsters around Starfire City not long ago. You boy, how did you get it? With these 2, my strength can be enhanced by 1 or 2 layers. Chen Lei's eyes widened rapidly. Purple Beast Core, this is something that only monsters of the 8th order can have. Chen Chu scratched his head, saying that he dug it when he directed the construction of the underground passage. I thought it looked good at the time, so I didn't throw it away. Since it is useful to Dad, give it to Dad. I'll be good, you brat is really my lucky star. Chen Lei accepted it with a smile on his face. If his kid says it, he will believe it unconditionally. Chen Chu also smiled. Father, I want to go to the Corpse King City with you tomorrow. Originally, Chen Chu thought that his father would disagree, so he was ready to show his strength to persuade him. Unexpectedly, this time my father didn't even think about it, he just nodded and agreed. Chen Chu looked confused. So refreshing. Chen Lei let out a big laugh, and said in a relaxed tone. Because if I die, your kid will not live either. Yes, if the old man sent it, the Corpse King would definitely let Zhonghai City fall directly. And there are other giant cities eyeing them. Those old boys, after this is over, I have to settle accounts with them. You haven't taken a concubine for a long time, boy. I remember that there are a few old boys whose daughters are all famous beauties with supernatural powers in the whole province of C. When the time comes, grab it and make it your kid's wife. Quote. After that, the 2 talked about going to Starfire City tomorrow. Then Dad said goodbye. It's a big gamble this time. But the odds are not small, you have to fight. After the father left, Chen Chu sat alone in the living room thinking about how to destroy the Corpse King City without a trace tomorrow. Dad. At this time, the eldest son Chen Han came to him in a ghostly manner. And with his 3rd son Chen Shou. What's wrong, Xiao Han, Xiao Shou? Chen Chu stroked the heads of the 2 children. He loves every heir, and the eldest son, Chen Han, has given him a lot of benefits these days. Dad, can you tell Grandpa to take me there tomorrow? Chen Han spoke boldly. Chen Chu is happy. This kid, it's fine if he wants to challenge the 5th level with the 3rd level. Now I still want to go to the Corpse King City, isn't this troublesome? He teased his son with a smile. Do you know what Dad and Grandpa are going to do tomorrow? Chen Han frowned, and nodded earnestly on his small face. Of course I know. Grab the territory. And, grab my little mom. The words of the eldest son Chen Han. Chen Chu's original smile froze on his face. He turned his neck stiffly and looked at his 3rd son, Chen Shou. The 3rd son, Chen Shou, who is less than 3 years old, is not as perverted as Chen Han, and is less than 1.4 meters tall. His dumb little face was full of seriousness and trust in his elder brother. Grandpa said that our ultimate goal is to steal Mom for Dad. Dad believes in us. We will definitely get it. Chen Chu stretched out his hand, bounced on the heads of 2 boys. Then he drove the 2 crying little kids to find their mothers. He turned around and challenged the little demon Yueling. Whether it is supernatural strength or physical strength, she has greatly improved. How could Yueling, a small 7th level peak person, be his opponent? Here's your chance for revenge. Jia Jia Jia. The next day. Husband, are you okay? Yueling looked at Chen Chu with panda eyes with some concern. There was a hint of distress in this concern. Chen Chu felt blood rush to his throat. Your physique evolved? Chen Chu asked with a trembling voice while holding on to the wall. Yueling nodded excitedly. Yes, how about my husband, you are awesome. Chen Chu trembled. This witch, no, is a witch. My husband has also become a lot stronger. I have already broken through the 8th level. These words made Chen Chu feel excited. As your strength becomes stronger, you can then use the 36 Deep Palace techniques. Will the strength feedback Yueling can receive also be enhanced? The 8th level superpower user is already one of the most powerful in the entire C province. And Yueling's way of increasing her strength is so outrageous. This physique is so strong. Every time after this, I feel warm all over my body, and my strength will also improve. Especially after my husband became stronger this time, this warmth became stronger and stronger, and he directly broke through the 8th level. Yueling's expression was very happy. 8th level. This is an 8th level powerhouse. The famous Thunder Tiger and the legendary fiery city lord Zhang Fenju were only at the 8th level. She never dared to think about it before, but she didn't expect it to be achieved so easily now. It's great to have a husband. Yueling grinned. Certainly, she was not stupid enough to continue using her powers to challenge Chen Chu this time. After this period of getting along, Chen Chu is inscrutable in her heart. What a corpse king city, what millions of zombies, what a corpse king promoted to 9th level. There is no match for a husband alone. As for me, just continue to be my husband's little witch, a little succubus. Husband, will it take a long time to go to Corpse King City this time? Yueling asked. Chen Chu shook his head. I don't know, it won't be long. When the time comes, the meteorite will be released and kill all the zombies. Then use the gravity power to disrupt the Corpse King, secretly help the father, and finally use the space power to directly dismember the corpse. That should be solved, right? It shouldn't take long, right? Chen Chu frowned and thought. This was a plan he had thought up all night. Then, I want to go too. Yueling came close to Chen Chu's face. I don't want to be separated from my husband. I am already very strong now. Please, husband, okay. Yueling blinked her watery eyes. He raised his hands in front of his chest, making a cute and pitiful expression like a little kitten. Chen Chu rubbed her head. Okay, let's go together. With him around, Yueling will not be harmed in any way. Moreover, she is already an 8th level expert, so letting her stay underground all day is not an option. Thank you husband, you are the best. Yueling gave Chen Chu a mouthful, with a red face and a silly smile. You brat, why did you come so quickly? I thought you wanted to say goodbye to your daughters-in-law for a while. In the city lord's mansion, Chen Lei looked at Chen Chu who stepped in the door and was a little surprised. Chen Chu said with a gentle smile. It's just a corpse king city. I'll be back soon. No need to say goodbye. Ha 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 ha. Chen Lei laughed. He patted Chen Chu on the shoulder and looked around at everyone. Look, you are worthy of me. Is this? Xiao. Looking at Yueling behind Chen Chu, Chen Lei frowned and recalled for a long time, and finally remembered a surname. Dad is a careless man and doesn't remember much about people. He had some impression of Yueling purely because he vaguely remembered that Yueling was good at fighting. I've met my father. Yueling saluted generously. Chen Chu told Chen Lei that Yueling wanted to go with him. Chen Lei had no objection or doubt about his son's decision. Ha ha ha, I remember that Xiao is a peak 6th level elite, stronger than many of the people in my superpower team. Yueling smiled softly and said, Father is very grateful. At the same time, she wrinkled her cute little nose at Chen Chu. It seems like she is saying again, husband, am I hiding it well? Praise me, praise me. Chen Chu turned a blind eye to her wink. Now is not the time to reveal your strength. Thunder Tiger. A voice came from outside the city lord's mansion. Next moment, Zhang Fenju, the lord of Liehuo City, wearing a fiery red battle armor, appeared. Also following her was Zhang Qingshui, who was wearing silver-rimmed glasses and a loose women's suit, with an ice-cold expression on his face, as if he should not be approached by strangers. Xiao Chu, you are here too. Zhang Fenju expressed surprise. Chen Chu took the initiative to greet Zhang Fenju and hugged him gently. Sister Fenju, long time no see. Zhang Fenju looked Chen Chu up and down in surprise. Xiao Chu, you have become taller and more handsome. Chen Chu grinned. I have gained a lot of physical characteristics recently, and my figure is getting closer and closer to perfection. Old, teacher, Zhang Qingshui, which was originally as cold as an iceberg. After meeting Chen Chu again, he immediately lowered his head and held his hands in front of his chest. Like a little girl who confesses her love for the first time. When he came to Chen Chu, he said hello in a panic. Chen Chu made a soft nasal sound, and then focused on Zhang Fenju. After not seeing each other for several years, Zhang Fenju has become more mature and full of different charm. Zhang Qingshui, who was left hanging aside, frowned and bit his lower lip, with a tangled expression. It's terrible, it's terrible. The teacher must have found out that my recent training results were not good and he was angry. Who is this? After chatting with Chen Chu for a while, Zhang Fenju focused his attention on Yueling next to him. Even Zhang Fenju was slightly startled by this appearance. More importantly, that charming temperament is a bit. Hello, Sister Fenju. Yueling saluted with a sweet tone. Sister Fenju, this is my 18-year-old wife, Yueling. Chen Chu introduced generously. Zhang Fenju's cherry mouth opened slightly, a little surprised. 10, 8, little wife. Zhang Fenju suppressed a smile and shook hands with Yueling. 10, 18, hello, sister. Yueling's body froze, as if he had been hit by an invisible arrow. She sighed softly and reluctantly accepted this setting. The old man took a step, and walked out of the gate of the city lord's mansion with a smoking cigar in his mouth. Fire Phoenix, what's up, are you all ready? Zhang Fenju is coming now. Naturally, he wanted to set off for Shiwang City with Chen Lei and the others. In the end of the glacier. Go out to fight. The combat power is basically only those with supernatural powers. There are more than 700 supernatural beings in Xingwo City and Raging Fire City combined. Moreover, an underground passage was established between the two cities. Travel together naturally, and Xingwo City is close to the edge of Zhonghai City. It is closer to the Corpse King City, so the starting point is set here. Everything is ready. Several supernatural teams have already joined up with the supernatural teams of Starfire City, waiting at the gate of the city. Chen Lei waved his hand and said boldly. Then let's go immediately. Zhang Qingshui is going too. At this moment, Chen Chu spoke suddenly. Zhang Qingshui has not yet awakened, he is just an ordinary person. How to get to? Zhang Fenju sighed lightly. Qingshui insisted on sending me off. Afterwards, she returned to Raging Fire City. Everyone knows this kind of war. There is a certain probability of death. A farewell now could be a farewell forever. But in this last days, where is the absolute safety? If you don't fight, you will die. Chen Chu frowned slightly. Zhang Qingshui was his designated concubine, so no accidents could happen. As a huge city, Raging Fire City is full of fish and dragons. If something happens to the supernatural team in the two cities, then I am afraid that Zhang Qingshui will be the first to have an accident. Don't test people's hearts in the last days. Zhang Qingshui has a high status and is an ordinary person. If something happens to Zhang Fenju, she will die. No, death is easy. The dark side in the last days is darker than hell. Chen Chu told Zhang Fenju his concerns. Zhang Fenju frowned even deeper. How could she not know this question? So this battle can only be won, not lost. There can't be any mistakes. Otherwise, once the news comes that the Corpse King City has the upper hand, without waiting for other giant cities to attack first, the city itself must be destroyed first. Zhang Qingshui immediately became the biggest target. Regarding Zhang Fenju's concerns, Chen Chu immediately proposed. Then let Zhang Qingshui stay in my residence. The whole body is solid there, and weapons are arranged, and there are supernatural guards guarding it. The most important thing is that my family is in it and can take care of each other. Chen Chu's words, family, moved Zhang Fenju. Although she also arranged secret guards for Zhang Fenju. But in the end, it is the family that is more reassuring. The two sisters grew up dependent on each other since they were young, and they are each other's only family members. This time I left by myself, leaving my sister alone. Zhang Fenju took a deep look, and after seeing Chen Chu's eyebrows and eyes very similar to his mother, she said softly, I'm afraid Qing Shui won't agree with her. Chen Chu showed a smile, wrap it on me. Then he called Zhang Qingshui aside. Old teacher. Zhang Qingshui was a little nervous. Stay in Xingwo City, go to my house, and wait until the battle is over. Chen Chu said with a cold expression and ordered. Zhang Qing buried his head in the water and remained silent for a long time. After hesitating for a long time, she spoke with difficulty. Teacher, please forgive me for not being able to carry out this order. Raging Fire City is my sister's painstaking effort. I will protect it when my sister is away. Chen Chu frowned slightly, and cast her a glance up and down. Guardian, you are an ordinary person, what else can you do besides hold back? You don't even dare to fight small beasts that are not advanced, so what protection are you talking about? Just relying on your poor spear skills. Because of you, your sister was worried before she set off. Do you know how much this will affect her battle? You, stay in my house obediently, don't keep making trouble. Your sister is already very tired and exhausted from dealing with these things, and she needs to spend more time and energy taking care of you. Are you so ignorant? These words were like invisible arrows, one after another, piercing Zhang Qingshui's body. She lowered her head and tried to suppress her sobs. Teacher, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be bad at spear skills. I didn't mean to make my sister worry. Chen Chu waved his hand and asked someone to take her to his home. Then he walked up to Zhang Fenju and smiled. Sister Fenju, it's done. My residence is a high-quality refuge, which can guard against creatures of the 10th order, absolutely safe. Zhang Fenju's mouth opened slightly, a little unbelievable. Just now, that incomparably proud younger sister of mine bowed her head in front of Xiao Chu. And you also listened to what Xiao Chu said. She looked at Chen Chu with bright lights in her eyes. Xiao Chu, you and Qing Shui really match each other. My sister is finally willing to make friends. She could finally feel relieved. And the other party is Xiao Chu, it couldn't be better. Let's go. Seeing that the matter was settled, the old man waved his hand and led the team to the field. Destination: Corpse King City. Husband, do you like Sister Fenju? During driving, the little demon girl O Yueling sneaked into Chen Chu's ear. Chen Chu flicked her forehead and didn't speak. O Yueling rubbed her slightly red forehead, and came together again. Husband, hurry up and improve my strength, I will snatch her to be my 19th concubine. Chen Chu glanced at her in surprise. What happened to my family? The father keeps yelling about grabbing his daughter-in-law all day long. He also taught his son a lesson when he shouted that he was robbing his mother. Why should I take away my own concubine? No, what happened to this world? Wouldn't he be able to steal it himself? He is obviously the strongest person. Boom, a muffled sound came. The little demon girl O Yueling had a small bump on her forehead. Well, O Yueling covered her head and cried out in pain. Looking at the plump red figure in front of her, she clenched her small fist and gritted her teeth fiercely. HMPH, Sister 18, when my husband and I practice a few more times, I will snatch you to be the 19th sister. No, you are the 20th sister, and your younger sister is the 19th sister. No, you are the 22 younger sister. There are Sisters Su Lan and Lu Ruyan in front of you. Boss, right in front. A 700-person superpower team. In the boundless snow, like a row of little ants on the big tree in the sky. Not impressive at all. The spy in front paddled his sled back quickly. Reported current location, 10 kilometers ahead. It's the location of Corpse King City. But today's Corpse King City is extremely abnormal. There aren't even any zombies around. More than that, there is no zombie vibe at all. Chen Lei and Zhang Fenju looked at each other and nodded to each other. Spread out and touch the designated location. The superpowers immediately activated their superpowers and moved towards higher places. Son, follow me. Chen Lei spoke to Chen Chu. Chen Chu nodded, and followed behind his father with O Yueling. Perception. In an instant, the entire Corpse King City was within his range of insight. The millions of zombies who were restless were actually silent at this moment. Standing in line in great silence. And in the center of the Corpse King City, a strong energy is hidden, beating faintly, like a volcano about to erupt. Is that the Corpse King? Chen Chu frowned. But what caught his attention even more was that there was an extremely strong breath of life 10,000 meters underground in the Corpse King City. This was something he hadn't discovered before. And this mysterious aura is actually connected to the Corpse King. It's such a strong breath of life, what the hell is it? Under Chen Chu's perceptual insight, the strength of the life breath underground in the Corpse King City even exceeds that of the Corpse King. But it doesn't look like a scary creature. Instead, more like an egg about to break out of its shell. The turmoil in Corpse King City is not that simple. Pay more attention. Chen Chu put part of his consciousness on this egg. At the same time, he always paid attention to his father, O Yueling, Zhang Fenju, Su Lan, Lu Ruyan and others around him. As long as the situation changes, immediately develop spatial abilities and take everyone away. After you are ready, he began to use his perception skills again to inquire about the situation in the entire Corpse King City and nearby areas. The Corpse King is stronger than the peak of the 8th level. He is only one step away from being promoted to the 9th level. No, the number of zombies is wrong. Chen Chu opened his eyes suddenly. The number of zombies in the Zombie King City is wrong. Even if he killed 100,000 zombie legions, there are still too few zombies in the Zombie King City. About 200,000 less. Found it, here it is. Chen Chu separated his perception from the Corpse King City and placed it outside the Corpse King City. As expected, under the snow, there are about 200,000 zombies with hidden auras lying there. They planned to use the terrain to plot against the Corpse King, and why wasn't the Corpse King plotting against them? If we fight together later, how do they deal with the 200,000 zombies underground around them, crawling up like gravedigger zombies? There is a high probability that the losses will be heavy, and only top powerhouses such as Dad and Zhang Fenju will be able to escape. And the battle will be lost. It's a pity that you met me. The corner of Chen Chu's mouth curled up. You like hiding underground, right? Then bury it underground forever. This is also the destination of zombies. Cut. Space compression. Gravity. All abilities are flying together. There are 200,000 sleeping zombies underground waiting to be awakened by the Corpse King, who died in their sleep. The space cutting messed up their brains. Space compression folds them directly into sheets of paper. Gravity crushed them into mud, and from then on dust returned to dust, and soil returned to earth. Chen Chu was not capable of killing 200,000 zombies at once. But the energy of the whole body is mobilized, still advancing at the rate of thousands of zombies per minute. These zombies are sleeping anyway. There will be no movement during the killing process. Half an hour later, Chen Chu has killed more than 30,000 zombies sleeping in ambush underground. As for the nearly 700 superpowers in Spark City and Agni City, they have also been distributed according to the originally scheduled locations. Weapons ready. Now there are more than 30 Earth-type superpowers in the two cities, standing on high ground, starting to prepare to change the terrain of the Corpse King City. Surround the zombies in the Zombie King City. Chen Chu and Yueling stood aside silently. It did not interfere with the battle arrangement process between Dad and Zhang Fenju. Conflict is imminent. The entire battlefield was filled with a strange and tense atmosphere. Only the little demon girl Yueling took out a lollipop from somewhere and stuffed it in her mouth, curiously looking at the Corpse King City below. Nonsense. When your husband is here, what are you afraid of? Another half hour passed. A heavy snowstorm suddenly blew up in the originally calm sky. Movement and vision are severely hampered. Chen Lei looked up at the sky and found that in broad daylight, the sky began to slowly darken. Apocalypse. Chen Lei cursed secretly. In the glacial apocalypse, blizzards are the most common natural disasters. Other disasters will follow. 80,000 heads. Chen Chu breathed a sigh of relief. In this hour, he cleared out 80,000 zombies sleeping underground. A little more than he expected. He has been observing the aura of the Corpse King. As this hour passed, the aura of the Corpse King continued to rise. It is now infinitely close to the 9th level. His goal is us. Feeling the aura of the Corpse King, Chen Chu's face darkened. The purpose of this Corpse King. It is indeed looking for the aura to devour more flesh and blood in order to break through to the 9th level. Dad and Zhang Fenju judged based on past experience. The Corpse King City will be in turmoil, and the Corpse King will destroy the entire Zhanghai City. Because the predecessor of Corpse King City, Coastal City, fell like this. But this time, the original purpose of the Corpse King was. It's the superpowers like myself. The Corpse King is no longer the Corpse King it used to be. For ordinary flesh and blood, the flesh and blood of 700 superpowers would be more helpful for his promotion. What's more, among them are 8th level powerhouses like the Corpse King like Dad and Zhang Fenju. In the past 20 years, Corpse King has made great progress. This kind of wisdom and calculation. Even the super old yin coin among humans is nothing more than this. 120,000. Chen Chu's superpowers are at their peak. Because of the three-dimensional improvement every time the heirs are added. The quantity and quality of his powers are 10 times greater than those of the same level. 10 times stronger. After his space powers and gravity powers were working hard. Thousands of zombies die every minute. 150,000. Veins popped up on Chen Chu's forehead. Husband, what's the matter? Yueling wiped Chen Chu's sweat with concern. Chen Chu saw her holding a lollipop and asked, "Aren't you afraid?" At this time, the sky was extremely dark, blizzards were blowing in the sky, and the deafening sound of heart beating came from the Corpse King city. Boom, boom, boom. Every sound struck the hearts of those with superpowers present. It's the smell of death. It's the Corpse King. The terrifying aura of the Corpse King swept through and wreaked havoc here. Yueling smiled and leaned her chin on Chen Chu's shoulder. Don't be afraid, with my husband here, I am not afraid of anything. 180,000. Chen Chu showed a bright smile. The little demon girl was taken aback. What 180,000? 200,000. Ha! Chen Chu let out a long breath of relief. The assassin's mace arranged by the Yinbi Corpse King was finally cleared up. The supernatural energy in his body was almost exhausted. A thought. A handful of red zombie crystal nuclei appeared in his hand. There are about 100 pieces. Just a thought. More than 100 red zombie nuclei were all reduced to ashes. This scene made Yueling's scalp tingle. Is this how someone absorbs zombie crystal nuclei? Shouldn't one be picked out first, calmly guarding the spirit, and then use the power with all its strength to slowly absorb it? What the hell is it to absorb hundreds of pieces in an instant? After repeating this 10 times, the supernatural energy in Chen Chu's body finally returned to its peak. Looking at Yueling's surprised expression with her mouth open, he casually took out a large handful of red zombie crystal cores and stuffed them into her hand. Go to practice, don't play around here. Yueling was holding more than 500 red zombie crystal nuclei, her mouth could not be closed. She had never seen so many crystal nuclei in her life. But after being surprised, she returned the zombie crystal core to Chen Chu. It's better to practice with your husband as a concubine, don't waste it. Chen Chu trembled as he looked at the eyebrows and eyes in front of him. I almost forgot about the terrifying physique of the little demon girl. Preparation. With a sullen face, Chen Lei roared loudly. The unscrupulous aura of the Corpse King kept scanning his team. No doubt, the Corpse King has already discovered them. So now there is no need to prepare anything more. At one command, the more than 30 Earth-type supernatural beings that have been prepared for a long time burst out with yellow light. The ground around the Corpse King city began to shake violently. 2 man-made mountains rise slowly, surround the entire Corpse King city. The first step of the plan, the siege. Success. Humanity. An extremely low and hoarse roar came from the Corpse King city. A mass of red light burst out of it. Snapped. There was a thunder in the sky. Lightning appeared. The dark world is split into a flash of light. This moment, the Corpse King city was exposed to everyone's eyes. Hundreds of thousands of gray zombies stood in a square formation. The center of the city. A towering tree withers. A thin man with sickly white skin and red eyes stood up on the canopy of the tree. Looking at the hundreds of supernatural beings standing on the surrounding hills, the Corpse King sticks out its scarlet tongue several meters long and dances in the air. Humanity. Delicious and stupid humans. His scarlet eyes drag bloody shadows in the dim environment. Weapons ready. As the leader of Xingwo City, from before the end of the world to after the end of the world, Chen Lei has long been iron-blooded. Naturally, he will not change his tactics because of changes in the enemy. Put. Boom, boom, boom. On the top of the surrounding mountains, special shells blessed by supernatural beings bombarded the Corpse King's position. In the dark environment and endless blizzard, it is impossible to judge the damage caused by these weapons to the Corpse King. Snapped. Another thunderclap. There will be a moment of light in the world again. In front of the Corpse King, a huge hand made up of tens of thousands of densely packed zombies blocked the artillery fire. Then, the gray zombies piled up like maggots and pieced together into human shapes. But a moment's work, a zombie giant rises from the ground. Its body is composed of countless zombies. The densely packed zombies wriggled, roared and bit each other. But Chen Chu sensed its danger. Peak of the 8th Order. The peak of the 8th rank of the Corpse King, the peak of the 8th rank of the zombie giant. It's not over yet. Behind the Corpse King with blood-red eyes grew fleshy wings dripping with blood. The wings of flesh and blood flap. The Corpse King fell steadily among the zombie giants. Then the Corpse King let these maggot-like and ant-like zombies devour him. The Corpse King's figure was gradually overwhelmed by zombies. And the aura of zombie giants is rising steadily. Ninth Order. The zombie giant fused with the Corpse King actually broke through the peak strength of the 8th rank, reaching the 9th rank. It's not over yet. It is obviously a humanoid zombie giant composed of tens of thousands of zombies. Suddenly opened his eyes. It's exactly the same as the Corpse King's, bloody. Drag out a huge dark red light and shadow in the air. The aura of the zombie giant rose again. Ninth Order middle stage. The shocking and terrifying atmosphere ravaged the entire Corpse King city. The zombie giant split its mouth and roared to the sky. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha ha. Stupid human, die. The Corpse King controls the zombie giant, with a wave of his hand. He wants to summon the zombie army that he buried deep outside the city of the Corpse King. He wants. None of these delicious flesh and blood can escape. He wants. Stupid human beings become more delicious under the seasoning of fear. This is the cage he set up. Come with me, glorious evolution. The feeling of oppression and suffocation in the middle of the 9th stage. The roar of zombie giants. In the dark and oppressive environment, Blizzard kept patting his face in pain. Today seems to be a standard day of death. All the ambitious people seem to be buried here. The old man turned his head and showed an incomparably bright smile. Son, it looks like we're dying. In the mid-9th stage, how to resist? And the Corpse King seems to have set up a zombie encirclement around them. Liangluo, Jaluo, ending Sahualuo. After struggling for 33 years in the last days, he finally had to die here. Chen Lei's teeth itched with hatred. The other giant cities in Province C are lucky for them. If he let Thunder Tiger survive. Not to mention their daughters, nieces, and granddaughters are all snatched to make children for their own boys. Even their wives. Chen Lei waved his hand. The 2-meter figure immediately rose to 3 meters, and the whole body turned into bronze. A bronze god of war surrounded by lightning appeared. Even if you die, you have to fight. This is his Thunder Tiger's law of survival in the last days. Leihu, you're not skinny. In such a short period of time, you've actually been promoted to the peak of the 8th step. Zhang Fenju, who was covered in flames, laughed. As the strongest person in Zhonghai City, she naturally has no shortage of means. Behind the plump body, a pair of flame wings stretched out, taking her into the air. Zhang Fenju's strength rose steadily, and he was immediately promoted to the peak of the 8th rank. Fire Phoenix, you are not bad. Chen Lei replied. Then, he stretched out his hand, and a long stick surrounded by lightning appeared. A weapon made from S-grade starstone ore. After he was promoted to the 8th level peak, this stick can also increase his strength by about 50%. Zhang Fenju smiled, and his body shook while hanging in midair. The windbreaker worn outside exploded, exposing the complete flaming armor inside. And a golden exquisite bow and arrow on the back. She drew the bow casually, and a flaming energy arrow feather appeared out of thin air. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The arrow feathers shot continuously. Each arrow carries the full blow of the 8th order peak. This bow and arrow is obviously not a mortal thing. Chen Lei laughed boldly. Ha ha ha, have a good fight before you die. Zhang Fenju turned his head and carefully looked at Chen Chu's eyebrows. She showed a gentle smile. Xiao Chu, sister, I can't see the day when Qing Shui and you get married. The old man showed his teeth to Chen Chu. Son, our father and I die together. This is the best ending I ever thought of. It's just that the little grandchildren have suffered. Chen Lei's always generous smile became a bit bitter. Afterwards, 2 figures, one white and one red, ran towards the Corpse King city. Young Master Chen. At some time, Ruyan Lu came to Chen Chu. Her face was open, without any entanglement. I wanted to express my feelings to the young master after this triumphant return, but I thought I would never have this chance. Master, if there is an afterlife, I would like to be a concubine of the young master. I just want to be pampered by the young master, and I will be satisfied. After speaking, Lu Ruyan had tears in her eyes. Achu. Su Lan also walked slowly. She was very calm and calm. Even a sweet smile. As a doctor, she already knew that life is a process from birth to death. What's more, in the last days, she took Chen Chu's arm very naturally. It's just a pity. Ah Chu didn't marry me sooner. It wasn't sooner, becoming my Ah Chu's wife. finished speaking, she stepped up and kissed Chen Chu's face. Chen Chu looked at Lu Ruyan, who was in tears, and Su Lan, who had a calm face. He gently hugged the two of them together. This hug made Lu Ruyan, who had been patient all the time, burst into tears, and hugged Chen Chu even tighter. But Su Lan showed a bright smile. To die with Ah Chu, is it considered happiness? With a lollipop in her mouth, Yueling tilted her head to look at the three of them, pointing at Su Lan and Lu Ruyan. 19th sister, 20 younger sister. 9th order middle stage, is it scary? Chen Chu asked suddenly. Su Lan and Lu Ruyan were taken aback. Why did Chen Chu suddenly ask this? The mid-9th stage is of course scary. Just now they were just swept away by the breath of the Corpse King, and their whole bodies were wrapped in the breath of death, so stiff that they couldn't move. Chen Chu let go of the two. Sunshine and his smile on his face. Corpse King, is it scary? In the dim sky, at this moment, more than a dozen giant fireballs descended at the same time. Chen Chu stood on the edge of the mountain. Behind him was the city of the Corpse King, which was densely packed with zombies, and above the city of the Corpse King was a huge meteorite blazing. This magnificent background plate sets off Chen Chu's incomparable divine. His sunny and handsome smile left an indelible mark on the hearts of the three girls. Even Yueling, who had long expected that her husband would make a move. At this time, I was also surprised that the lollipop in my mouth fell to the ground and I didn't notice it. Meteor, 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 long live. A natural disaster has come. Dozens of huge flaming meteorites fell towards the Corpse King city. Meteorites break through the dark sky and illuminate the earth, completely exposing the Corpse King city that was originally hiding in the darkness. Ugly red-eyed zombie giant. Like a tide, hundreds of thousands of zombies poured out of the city crazily. At this time, all the creatures in the life and death duel stopped and looked at the meteorites in the sky. Just the huge potential energy carried by free fall is not something that these superpowers and zombies can resist. This is the power of natural disasters. Everyone was stunned. A moment later, he ran away madly. This meteorite obviously came towards the Corpse King city. If it is within the range of the meteorite falling, even if it is not hit, it will be dead or injured. The superpowers unfold their superpowers and spread quickly. This kind of natural disaster, whether it's them or the zombies, they have no choice but to escape. Let alone a conscious superpower. Even ordinary zombies without birth intelligence relied on their survival instincts and began to slowly move their stiff bodies. Dad and Zhang Fenju, who were fighting the zombie giant, looked at each other and then nodded. Dad Chen Lei jumped up, raised the stick in his hand high, and smashed it towards the zombie giant. Zhang Fenju flashed his flame wings and pulled out the full moon in midair. This is the strongest arrow. Roar. The zombie giant controlled by the zombie king faced the attack of the two 8th level peak powerhouses. He is now at the mid-9th level of strength. Not at all scared. Boom. Zhang Fenju's flame arrow feathers emitted a violent sonic boom, shaking the space and shooting out. The zombie giant crossed his hands in front of him, and the dense zombies immediately transformed into a huge human shield, blocking Zhang Fenju's attack. Humans, ridiculous. The zombie giant took down its defenses and prepared to counterattack. But at a glance, I saw only two streams of light, one red and one white, running away at great speed. Mad, there are so many meteorites in the sky, who will fight with you? While the other hundreds of thousands of zombies are in disarray, run away quickly. Hey, humans. The zombie king who controlled the zombie giant laughed disdainfully. Run. Does he come to Corpse King City whenever he wants and leave when he wants? He had already ambushed 200,000 zombies outside the city, and among them were a large number of elite zombies. Today, none of these superpowers can escape. Let them all become nourishment for his promotion. As for the meteorite that is about to fall, a human at the peak of the 8th level can run away, but it is not easy for him to run now in the middle of the 9th level. A thought. Standing 20 meters high, the zombie giant composed of hundreds of thousands of zombies sprouted two huge flesh wings from its back. The fleshy wings flap and make a violent noise. The zombie giant also slowly rose into the sky. Meteor disaster. Just hide away. The other side. Chen Chu on the mountain looked at the movements of the Corpse King. His brows furrowed and his eyes narrowed. Space bound. Boom. The zombie giant that had already flown into the air was slapped directly on the ground. Roar. Hundreds of thousands of zombies let out extremely harsh roars at the same time. The Corpse King crawled on the ground and failed to get up even after climbing several times. It was like an invisible net that bound him to the ground. He raged and roared, but to no avail. The meteorite in the sky was getting closer and closer, and its powerful authority was almost overwhelming him. If you want to run away now, you may be able to escape from the zombie giant. But his strength will also drop to the 8th level peak. But if you don't leave, meteors in the sky will definitely hit the zombie giant. Detach. The Corpse King, who had already given birth to wisdom, immediately made a judgment. He immediately ordered the zombie giant to disintegrate. The huge zombie giant collapsed instantly like a sandcastle beaten by the sea water. But the real despair comes after disintegration. The Corpse King discovered that the invisible force was not a net at all, but an airtight wall, pressing him hard, making him unable to move. And after his strength dropped from the mid-9th level to the 8th level peak, he was no match for this power. Who is it? Who is it? The Corpse King lying on the ground roared in his heart. Impossible, it is impossible for the entire province of sea to have such a character who can restrain him. The Corpse King panted wildly, his blood-red eyes sticking out several meters. Who the hell? The meteorite was getting closer, and the Corpse King became more and more panicked. And Chen Chu standing on the top looked down at the Corpse King prostrate on the ground. The disgusting eye that protruded several meters made him frown. Gravity. Explode. Boom. The strong gravity directly crushed the Corpse King's eyes. There. The muscles connecting the eyeballs of the Corpse King flew around. He found the location of the instigator. There is still breath. At the hilltop, among the group of supernatural beings. The strength of the 9th rank is definitely higher than that of the mid-9th rank. In Province C, there is such a character. He has planned for so many years. But he didn't find out. The Corpse King clenched his dry hands unwillingly. However, what greeted him were only meteorites that came in succession. Boom, boom, boom. The spatial ability moves the hills that have been prepared to an altitude of 10,000 meters. Under the blessing of ground attraction and Chen Chu's gravity ability, turning into the top of the meteorite, it precisely bombarded the area where the Corpse King was. And other zombie armies. And Chen Chu can avoid the arsenal on the edge of Shiwang City. After all, Dad needs it. The entire bombardment process lasted for a minute and ended. The 700 supernatural beings on the top of the mountain witnessed a group of meteorites falling from the sky and bombarded the Corpse King in the middle of the 9th rank into the ground. The entire Corpse King city, hundreds of thousands of zombies, were all wiped out. All of these. It came like a dream. After being stunned for 10 minutes, the supernatural beings. Finally someone cheered. Win. Win. We won. We won. God has eyes. He smashed to death the Corpse King of the 9th rank. Everyone wept with joy and hugged each other again. In a short period of time, they actually experienced from death to life. This extreme emotional gap brought tears to everyone's eyes. Lu Ruyan looked at the Corpse King city that had been turned into ruins, and then at Chen Chu who was intact. She squatted down excitedly, hugging her legs and crying loudly. Fortunately, still alive, all still alive. And Su Lan, who was extremely calm in the face of death. After escaping from the dead, tears welled up in his eyes. She didn't speak. Instead, he turned his head directly, wrapped his hands around Chen Chu's neck, and offered a passionate kiss. This time, she must be Chen Chu's wife. No one can stop it. Among all the people, the one who was most surprised was the little demon girl O Yueling. She looked at the Corpse King city that was bombarded by meteorites into ruins, and at the nearly 1 million zombies that had turned into slag and coke. Tears flowed down in one fell swoop. She hugged Chen Chu from behind and cried loudly. Husband, I was wrong, I never dare to rely on my physique to kill you again. The high-temperature meteorite fell to the ground and was frozen into black by the extreme cold. The sky gradually regained some light and darkness. Chen Lei and Zhang Fenju, who had been staring at the battlefield, saw where the Corpse King was, stretched out a trembling charcoal black arm. The dying Corpse King pointed at the position of Chen Chu, his joints bent. However, nothing happened. My 200,000 zombie army. This was the last thought of the Corpse King before he died. The breath of life disappears. The scorched black arm pointing at Chen Chu was frozen into a specimen by the extreme cold. Chen Lei and Zhang Fenju looked at each other. The two turned into Aurora, and cautiously ran towards the place where the Corpse King died. Chen Lei stabbed at the meteorite with a stick wrapped around lightning in his hand. Boom! The meteorite, which had been worn down by the atmosphere to the height of only 2 people, was knocked into the air. Below is a deep pit. It was full of charred corpses and fragments. Can't tell which one is the Corpse King at all. But there are 2 things shining, very dazzling. A fist-sized zombie crystal nucleus with a little bit of pink shining in the rich purple. And a piece of green meat like a jelly-like, dwang dwang, Q-bomb. This is the pink crystal nucleus. Zhang Fenju picked up the strange zombie crystal nucleus. Chen Lei made it green jelly-like strange meat. What is this? Although I really want to find out that these 2 things fell from the Corpse King. But the 2 leaders, I also know that this is not the time to waste time in this place. I must go back to integrate the team, gather combat power. Put away the 2 items that radiate light. 2 streamers of light, 1 white and 1 red, rushed to the mountain peak immediately. Son, Chen Lei's deep voice came. And when he came, it was when Su Lan was working hard. After half an hour, Su Lan opened her eyes, full of love. Subsequently, she saw a circle of supernatural beings surrounding her, including Chen Lei and Zhang Fenju. With a swish, her face turned red into a peach. He immediately lowered his head and stood awkwardly. But Chen Chu took her hand naturally. Father. He looked at Chen Lei. Chen Lei looked at Su Lan and then at Chen Chu. Laughed loudly. I said a long time ago that Shaolin would enter our old Chen's house. Ha ha ha, I will arrange a big wedding for you when I return to the city. Su Lan smiled sweetly and did not refute. Chen Chu smiled and nodded. Then he pulled up Lu Ruyan, who was extremely cramped at the side. Said to Daddy, there is still smoke. Ha ha ha, okay, we'll get married when we return to the city. Chen Lei laughed boldly. Zhang Fenju, who was standing aside, also had a smile on his face. I thought I was going to die today. But I didn't expect that in a blink of an eye, I could see the happy face again. It's good to be alive. Looking at the sweet looks of Chen Chu, Su Lan, and Lu Ruyan, Zhang Fenju sighed. Then, looking at the handsome Chen Chu, she thought, should Qingshui find a good home? She herself is destined to carry something and protect something in her life. In the end of the glacier, as one of the strongest in the entire province of Xi, it is impossible to talk about small love and small love. Maybe, only when there is a man who can withstand all wind and snow for her and conquer her, will her affection be moved. Pity. Decades have passed. There has never been such a person. She has always been the strongest in Province C. Only she has always conquered others, and no one has ever conquered her. Father, have the zombies been dealt with? Chen Chu asked knowingly. Chen Lei took out a green jelly-shaped piece of meat. It's solved, the Corpse King is dead, he dropped it, take the Corpse King city. This natural disaster is really weird. Those meteorites seem to have navigation. They only hit zombies, and we won for no reason. However, in this doggy world, it is not surprising that glaciers appear in the last days, doomsday ores appear, and zombies, extraordinary creatures, monsters and supernatural beings also appear. Human beings who can live in the last 33 years. The acceptance of unknown things is very high. After all, every move is a natural disaster, every move is an unknown monster. A person with a small heart will die early. So no one doubted anything. Only Yueling, who was standing in the corner, took out another lollipop and stuffed it into his mouth, muttering softly. Husband, it's really scary. Jelly meat. Looking at the quivering jelly meat chunks of dwang dwang in his father's hand, Chen Chu was very curious. He immediately asked the system in his heart. Life polyps. There is a 1% probability of being produced in a 9th-level organism, which can help the swallower improve the current life level, and is often used to break through the level. Good stuff. Looking at the entry, Chen Chu's eyes lit up. Isn't this equivalent to the life promotion in one's own 3-dimensional promotion? Although I don't know what level of life improvement it is. But even among 9th-order creatures, there is only a 1,000th chance of being produced, which is obviously better than crystal nuclei of the same level. And Daddy is now at the peak of the 8th order. After swallowing the bronze lightning liquid last time, Dad got the S-level physique, bronze thunder body. And the lightning ability has been strengthened. The rank of the ability has also been raised to the peak of the 8th rank. If the old man swallowed this piece of life-yielding polyp that could be used to improve the level of life and break through the ranks. With Dad's SS level potential, 9th level can be achieved. Is this the only one? Where's the crystal nucleus? Chen Chu asked. The probability of a zombie producing a crystal nucleus is very high, let alone a corpse king. Zhang Fenju flipped his hand. A zombie crystal nucleus filled with rich purple and a little pink in the center appeared. Attribute crystal nucleus. Produced by a 9th order creature, this crystal nucleus has not evolved completely, and a false 9th order was born with the attribute of fire. The crystal nuclei born in organisms above the 9th order carry attributes. Chen Chu has another piece of new information. The crystal nuclei produced by creatures below the 9th rank are only divided into color grades, and contain energy of different qualities. The crystal nuclei produced by creatures above the 9th rank have different attributes. After the crystal nucleus of the corresponding attribute is absorbed by the relevant supernatural person, the strength of the supernatural person will greatly increase. Sister Fenju happens to be of the fire element, and the corpse king is a little too sensible. Dropped stuff, just right. Hey, why is this crystal nucleus so weird? It's rich purple with pink in it, like lighting a match in the evening. Chen Chu is doing the guiding. Zhang Fenju brought the attribute crystal nucleus to his eyes and observed it carefully. I seem to, indeed feel, the breath of flames inside. Zhang Fenju is an S-level 8th level peak fire element power user. No one in the entire province of C knows about flames better than her. In this crystal nucleus, there is really a smell of flames. Chen Lei was very forthright. Ha ha ha, Fire Phoenix, then you can just hold this crystal nucleus. This, Zhang Fenju hesitated. It's not clear what that odd green lump of flesh was. And the crystal nucleus in his hand is obviously a good thing. Originally, the two companies were cooperating. I took it directly, wouldn't it be an advantage? But her abilities told herself that she really needed this crystal nucleus. That's it, Lei Hu, the crystal nucleus that will be picked up later, U7 and 3. Zhang Fenju thought of a compromise. Ha 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 ha, the forthright Chen Lei scratched his head and laughed. No, just follow what we talked about before you came here. Since this thing can appear together with the crystal nucleus, it should not be a mortal thing. Since this crystal nucleus has the breath of fire, it is naturally not suitable for my lightning-type supernatural power. This time is the best. Okay, Zhang Fenju hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. Thunder Tiger was right. Since it is related to the fire attribute, it is still more suitable for me. And with Lei Huo's temperament, he would not accept changing the things that were originally negotiated. In this case, there is no need to argue. In the future, I will make up for it from other places. Father, how do you use this thing? Chen Chu pointed at the life polyp. Dad held it and looked left and right. I don't know, but the breath of life is quite strong. Since it's meat, should I eat it directly? Chen Chu asked curiously. Chen Lei slapped his head, looking at Chen Chu like a genius. That's right, you need to eat, your kid is really a genius like your mother. As soon as his boy said it, Chen Lei swallowed it whole on the spot. This scene made the surrounding supernatural beings feel their scalps go numb. Isn't it so random? At least it's like taking it back to the city for testing, let the supernatural person test it. Hello. These two fathers and sons are one who dares to speak and the other who dares to listen. While everyone was surprised, but Chen Lei suddenly turned into a bronze god of war. The white sea of thunder drowned him. All the supernatural beings felt that Chen Lei's aura continued to rise. Park, with the sound of water drops. A huge white halo rose from the sea of thunder. Then a terrifying aura covered the entire mountain. 9th Order, Thunder Tiger. Dot has been promoted to the 9th rank. 9th Order. This is a level that has never appeared in the entire province of C. In the frozen doomsday, snowstorms, magnetic changes, glaciers. All kinds of natural disasters come together. In addition to resisting extreme cold, the greatest danger for human beings. There is a more important problem, information occlusion, behavioral restrictions. Human beings were blocked underground by the endless blizzard. Ordinary people can only know people in the same survivor camp for a lifetime. The social circle of people with supernatural powers is basically the city. Top superpowers like Chen Lei and Zhang Fenju may have communicated with supernatural beings in nearby cities. But basically they won't see each other for many years. As for other provinces, I haven't seen them at all. Survivor camps were turned into independent worlds by natural disasters. You know, the former Hu Zhang was just roaming around in several cities, but Zhang Fenju failed to catch him after nearly 10 years. It was he himself who couldn't resist the temptation of Xingxi and ran back to Zhonghai City before he was killed. One can imagine the difficulty of communicating among human survivors. In the outside world, no one knows what it's like. But in Zhonghai City, several surrounding cities, and even the entire province of Xi, in the 33rd year of the last days, the highest rank is the 8th rank. Chen Lei has now been promoted to the 9th rank. Became the first 9th order powerhouse in the entire Xi province. At the same time, it also means that Chen Lei has become the strongest in province Xi. The terrifying atmosphere lasted for an entire hour. Subsequently, the huge Leihai was gradually absorbed into Chen Lei's body. The suffocating terrifying aura also disappeared. Chen Lei's figure reappeared in front of everyone. Although his appearance has not changed in any way, it gives people a completely different feeling. He just stood there, did not release any breath. But even Zhang Fenju, who was at the peak of the 8th step, had only one thought in his mind. Very strong. If you fight, you will die. Chen Lei took a step forward, unable to see his figure at all, so he returned to the crowd directly from 100 meters away. Everyone was surprised. Lightning-type supernatural powers are recognized for their strong attack and fast speed. But Chen Lei's current speed is no different from teleportation. Even Zhang Fenju's pupils shrunk. Even she just saw an afterimage. The gap between the 8th step and the 9th step is actually so big. After Chen Lei's promotion ended, he patted Chen Chu on the shoulder. Ha ha ha, son, it's really good to hear from you, kid. After eating that piece of green meat, I actually broke through the peak of the 8th step and reached the 9th step. Chen Lei looked up to the sky and laughed. Great joy. Finally promoted to the 9th rank. In the whole province of Xi, who do you have a crush on? Tell me directly. Dad's laughter spread throughout the Corpse King city. Didn't I promise you to snatch the daughters, nieces, and granddaughters of other giant cities in Xi province? You wait, when I return from the Corpse King city, I will take you to deal with them. Don't talk about daughters, if your kid can like it, their daughter-in-law will also. Hee hee. Chen Lei said, as long as he doesn't die this time, those forces that drove him to a dead end before, just wash his neck and wait. And this time not only did he not die, he was also promoted to become the only 9th level supernatural person in Province Xi. The day of Chen Lei's rise will be the end of these cities, and the day when his son will marry a wife and take concubines. Jia Jia Jia. No, why did I say, Jia Jia Jia? Chen Lei scratched his head, but didn't pay much attention. He smiled and looked at Zhang Fenju. Haha, Fire Phoenix, I didn't expect this piece of green meat to be so strong, but I took advantage of it. The entire Corpse King city, take everything you like. It's compensation. Chen Lei is very generous. Items that allow people to break through ranks. Its value alone is higher than the entire Corpse King city. Zhang Fenju smiled and shook his head. No need, just follow what I said before, and I have a hunch that this zombie crystal nucleus with fire attributes is good for me, not as bad as green meat. Chen Lei was not a hypocritical person. He waved his hand. Ha ha ha, okay then, if you need help in Fire City later, just ask. Zhang Fenju nodded. Then thank Thunder Tiger first. The value of getting the commitment from the strongest person in Province Xi is not low. After the joy, Zhang Fenju frowned again. Thunder Tiger, it's better to send people back to the city to report the victory, and then we will pick up the supplies and zombie crystal cores in the Zombie King city as soon as possible. I'm afraid that if someone sees the meteorite landing, they will think that we are in trouble and take advantage of the situation to cause chaos. Quote. Chen Lei nodded, selected a few fast and strong ones, and quickly rushed back to Spark City and Raging Fire City. Subsequently, Everyone set their sights on Corpse King City. The Zombie King City was in ruins, but over 800,000 zombies were buried there. The zombie crystal cores produced by 800,000 zombies are definitely an unimaginable wealth. Calculated based on the probability of zombies producing crystal nuclei, there are probably tens of thousands. Chen Lei looked at Zhang Fenju and grinned. As before, the arsenal belongs to me, and the zombie crystal cores are 6 for you and 4 for me. Zhang Fenju nodded. Okay. Liehuo City has priority in purchasing weapons from Spark City. Chen Lei nodded. No problem. Then the two returned to the Corpse King City with a 600-person superpower team. The remaining 100 people were responsible for garrisoning the camp and keeping watch. To turn over the heads of 800,000 zombies is a big project even for a person with superpowers. In addition, they also need to check the specific situation of the arsenal and search the entire Corpse King City. It will take at least 5 days. After Dad and the others left, Chen Chu took his 18th wife Ou Yueling, as well as Su Lan and Lu Ruyan, who were about to become 19th and 20th wives, into the thermal shed built for him by the team of superpowers. After Chen Lei was promoted to the 9th level, even the superpowers in Agni City have become extremely respectful to Chen Chu. Without waiting for him to say anything, a huge greenhouse, enough beds for 4 people, and a large amount of food are all arranged. This scene made Su Lan and Lu Ruyan blush. But Ou Yueling was lying on the bed naturally, holding a lollipop in her mouth and swinging her long white legs. Staring at Chen Chu, who was distracted. Husband, what are you thinking about? Aren't all the Corpse Kings dead? Perception. Chen Chu frowned. An invisible wave spread out instantly. It extends towards the 10,000 meters underground of Corpse King City. This egg, what on earth is it? An egg with thick white hair reflected in Chen Chu's mind. The aura of this egg was previously connected to the Corpse King. The riots in the Corpse King City are absolutely inseparable from it. Moreover, the life breath of the egg just now was very strong, giving Chen Chu the feeling that it was about to break out of the shell. But now, after the death of the Corpse King, its breath actually shrank and became silent, as if it were dead. If you are in doubt, the system will solve it. Chen Chu once again awakened the system in his heart. White Flame Bear Egg. During the incubation period, after being warmed by sufficient life energy, the White Flame Bear will break out of the egg. If someone drops a drop of blood every day for 7 days before the White Flame Bear hatches, after the White Flame Bear is born, it will automatically recognize its owner. If there is no one, the White Flame Bear will never recognize its owner and become a monster in the wild. This is a monster that can be tamed as a pet. Chen Chu's eyes lit up. In the end of the world, all surviving animals have evolved into monsters. But there are also monsters with docile personalities that can be tamed. There is one in Spark City. It is also the most common first-level monster in the apocalypse, often used to pull supplies. Snow Dog. White Flame Bear. That's a cool name, but don't bears give birth to viviparous children? Chen Chu frowned slightly, but didn't think much about it. In the last days, all kinds of creatures have evolved, and it is not surprising that anything will happen. Being able to connect to the Corpse King requires 7 days of blood essence. What level will this monster be? Chen Chu was confused. Like a first-level snow dog, just feed it and it will become the most loyal partner. But this White Flame Bear requires so much and is so difficult, so its rank must be higher than that of the snow dog. White Flame Bear. Depending on individual potential, different White Flame Bears will grow into different levels, with the lowest level being a 4th-level monster. The potential of this White Flame Bear is identified as S, and it can grow into Extraordinary. Chapter 71. Rank. Can grow to Supernatural. What is Extraordinary? Chen Chu frowned. It was a level he had never heard of. He only knows that abilities are divided into 10 levels. In the whole province of C, Dad is at the 9th rank. According to my perception, Dad's strength is lower than mine. Then what is my strength? Chen Chu frowned more and more. No template reference, what a hassle. He only knows that his strength is definitely stronger than the 9th level. But it's not possible to beat the 10th level, but I don't know, after all, there is no reference. And this so-called extraordinary is even more troublesome. Obviously, the end of the glacier is much more mysterious than he imagined. We must find opportunities to visit other provinces and cities. Chen Chu made up his mind. He has S+ level space ability. Compared with others, it has a very obvious advantage. The distance is not a problem for him. Moreover, during this period of time Chen Chu observed carefully. Adding up Starfire City and Raging Fire City, there isn't even a space system superhuman. Not even low-level space systems. Chen Chu has also used the words of many supernatural beings. It was found that no one had ever heard of the abilities related to the space system. This also made him wonder if he is the only space system in the entire apocalypse. It's never wrong to maintain a sense of crisis. Chen Chu nodded secretly. Although I don't know what level my current comprehensive strength is. I also don't understand what Chaofan exists. But Chen Chu knew that as long as he keeps getting stronger, it will be fine. It has been getting stronger and stronger, so strong that it is unique in the last days, so strong that it can defeat all enemies. And the way to become stronger is marrying a wife and taking concubines to have many children. Chen Chu set his sights on Su Lan and Lu Ruyan. Well, Sister Lan looks like a child. Ruyan is also very good. After Dad cleans up the Corpse King City, he will go back to Starfire City and get married. Many children are blessed. Become stronger. Su Lan, who had been paying attention to Chen Chu, saw the place where Chen Chu suddenly looked at herself. His face flushed, but after thinking about it, she stood up anyway. In this way, can Ah Chu see more clearly? Su Lan blushed thinking. Seeing Chen Chu staring at himself intently, Su Lan was both happy and shy. Later, I couldn't bear the feeling of ants crawling all over my body. Su Lan couldn't help but ask, Ah Chu, what are you thinking? Chen Chu smiled handsomely. I'm thinking, when will I be able to marry such a beautiful sister Lan back home? Women can't help but boast. There was a smile on Su Lan's slightly red face. She took Chen Chu's arm. He leaned into his ear and exhaled the fragrance. Go back to the city. Chen Chu looked down at her with a smile on his face. Su Lan was going to be his concubine after all. Master, there's me, and me. Like a kitten afraid of being abandoned by its owner, Lu Ruyan leaned over pitifully. Chen Chu gently scratched her little nose. Of course, neither of you will be missing. After coaxing his two unmarried concubines, Chen Chu had a thought. The white flame bear egg buried 10,000 meters underground was transferred into the supernatural space. He now has the ability to drag living creatures into the supernatural space, but there is a time limit. But as long as you take it out after the time limit, and put it in after you have replenished the energy. And Chen Chu also thought it through. The Corpse King must have something to do with this white flame bear egg. And the white flame bear egg must have been placed under the Corpse King City, and was connected with the Corpse King. The purpose is to wait for the Corpse King to advance successfully. Let the white flame bear egg digest the life polyps born in the body of the 9th level Corpse King. Let the white flame bear eggs enter the countdown to hatching, and this person will drip blood again, making this S-level potential white flame bear his own war beast. Such a pity. This person did not expect that the Corpse King has the ability to temporarily become a false 9th rank. It was even more unexpected that he would make a move, kill the Corpse King, and took away the life polyp. Now, even the white flame bear egg that the man placed 10,000 meters underground will be taken away. The riot of the Corpse King is related to the white flame bear egg. The white flame bear egg was released by a mysterious person again. Then figure it out. This mysterious person is the enemy of Xingwo City and Raging Fire City. After all, if they don't come to stop them, the Corpse King will turn Zhonghai City into hell. The praying mantis catches the cicada, and the oriole follows behind. The mysterious man prepared so much for the contract with the white flame bear. In the end, it's not cheap for yourself. Anyway, the mysterious man is the enemy. And if she found out that her plan had failed, she would eventually find Starfire City and Raging Fire City. It's better to take the eggs away first. Improve your strength first. Now Chen Chu can be sure of two things. 1. The mysterious person is very strong, otherwise it would be impossible to set up such a big game. 2. The mysterious person is not from Province C, no one in Province C has this kind of ability. It seems that there will be a strong enemy next, and we must improve our strength as soon as possible. Chen Chu thought so. To improve your own strength, you have to marry a wife and take concubines, and you will be blessed with more children. And now waiting in the Corpse King City is to wait for the father and the others to finish picking up the zombie crystal nucleus. In this case, space ability. Chen Chu's ability spread and began to move the zombie's nucleus to a prominent position. In this way, the people in the team only need to bend down to pick it up. And I can hurry back to the city to get married. Whether it is making Su Lan a concubine, still working hard, many children are blessed, strengthen strength. It's all urgent. At the same time, the edge of Province C. In the boundless snow field, a tall and beautiful girl suddenly stopped. Boom! A 3-meter-tall white-haired giant bear who was following her accidentally bumped into her. The girl didn't respond, but the giant bear was knocked and rolled out. She folded her hands, her face full of doubts. My pet seems to have disappeared. Impossible. The place where I put my pet is obviously a dead city. Only some low-level zombies. According to his arrangement and what he left behind, it was enough for the Corpse King to be promoted to the 9th rank in a year. Then one's own pet will devour the Corpse King and enter the final hatching process. I also just rushed back. Why now? The breath of the pet is gone. She was very sure, the newly set foot in the province of C, there is no transcendent existence at all. How could someone find beast eggs 10,000 meters underground? And can cut off contact with her? The girl's brows became deeper and deeper. Finish this task first, and then rush back immediately. I left a mark on the egg, so I'm not afraid I won't find it. The girl clenched her fist. There is no way. She also wants to rush back immediately, but this task must be done, and the priority is higher. At that time, I want to see which little thief dares to touch my pet. 2 days later, with the secret help of Chen Chu, the team quickly picked up the crystal nuclei of 800,000 zombies. More than 800,000 zombies produced more than 40,000 zombie crystal nuclei. Compared with the scattered zombies in the wild, the output rate of zombies in the Corpse King City is already very high. More than 40,000 zombie crystal nuclei. Enough for all the supernatural beings in Starfire City and Raging Fire City to consume for decades. One can imagine what kind of wealth this is. And the arsenal on the edge of the Corpse King City was also explored and completed. Perhaps because this is the most important arsenal in the entire province of C. Or maybe it's because since the end of the world, this place has been captured by zombies, and there are zombies rubbing and warming them every day. Fortunately, the arsenal's equipment is still usable. No major issues other than a few small delicate parts breaking. As long as the engineers in the city use doomsday materials to reproduce it one by one. From then on, Starfire City was able to produce its own weapons. Never fear consumption again. After that, suitable candidates can be selected from ordinary people to form an armed guard. Greatly enhance the strength of the city. At the same time, Starfire City can also become the largest arms dealer in the entire province of C. After all, the probability of being born with supernatural powers is not very high. Just like Xingwo City and Raging Fire City, the combined population of the two cities is nearly 200,000, but there are only more than 700 people with supernatural powers. So weapons still occupy a very high importance. Whether it is foreign enemies or internal turmoil in the town. What's more, some low-level and low-level supernatural beings still can't defend against firearms. And it's a whole arsenal. In addition to ordinary firearms, some heavy firepower can also be manufactured. With this arsenal, in Starfire City, the ability to resist monster siege and enemy invasion has been greatly improved. Of course, the offensive ability has also been greatly improved. Ha ha ha, brat, I originally thought it would take at least a week of delay here, but I didn't expect it to be resolved in 2 days. It seems that God is determined to let you take a concubine as soon as possible. Let's go. Go back to the city and arrange a big wedding for your kid. Pack 40,000 zombie nuclei and some important machinery in the arsenal. With a wave of his hand, Chen Lei led the team away, preparing to return to the city. Starfire City and Raging Fire City have been empty for so long, and if they don't go back, there is a high probability of accidents. But Chen Chu is not worried. Before departure, he deliberately told all his concubines not to step out of the residence until he returned. Can't go anywhere. The wives and concubines have always obeyed him. Definitely not going out of the house. And his residence is a high-quality shelter. Can resist the existence of 10th-order supernatural beings. The safest place in the entire province of C. Of course there is no need to worry. Chen Chu held Su Lan and Lu Ruyan's arms from left to right and said with a smile. Go back to the city and get married. Su Lan and Lu Ruyan lowered their heads shyly, their blushes crept to the back of their ears. Although the wedding has already been decided. But Chen Chu respects them very much. He said that he would not touch them without going through the door. And this time to fight in the Corpse King city, the emphasis is on going into battle lightly and fighting with one's back. So there are very few supplies. There are even fewer space-consuming equipment such as thermal insulation sheds. So 4 people can only squeeze in one room. This caused Su Lan and Lu Ruyan to suffer from earaches every day. After all, Chen Chu and the little succubus Yueling were together, so it was hard not to have something happen. I heard that I am going back to the city to get married soon. Su Lan and Lu Ruyan thought about the experiences of these days together. Thinking of the appearance of the little succubus Yueling. Will I be like that too? But if it's Chu, it seems to be pretty good. Su Lan pushed her glasses, feeling shy. Lu Ruyan stood up and cheered herself up. Come on, Ruyan, you can do it, you will definitely perform better than Yueling. 5 days later, the large army returned to Xingwo City across the 100 kilometers of snow. As for Zhang Fenju's level of powerhouse, he rushed back 2 days ago. And Dad is the backbone of the team, and his son is still in it, so naturally he didn't leave the team and rushed back. Finally home, at the entrance of the Starfire City passage. Chen Lei took off his hat, took a long breath. So much has happened over the years. And now, he has been promoted to become an S-level 9th level supernatural being, the strongest in the entire C province. None of them. And took down an entire arsenal, which can arm the whole city and improve its combat effectiveness. Tens of thousands of zombie crystal nuclei were harvested. Strength and financial resources have been greatly improved. Then, we need to expand our power. He looked towards the endless snowfield, with a hint of murderous intent in his eyes. Those old thieves, wash your necks and wait. I will come to you after I have married my son. After Chen Lei was promoted to the 9th level, Province C was destined to change. He wants to create a bigger world for his son. Better quality of life, more concubines. Of course, the most important thing in my eyes is to take a concubine for my own boy first. Son, let's go. Everything is ready. Chen Lei called Chen Chu out of the crowd. He took him into the city first. The city lord, it's the city lord, and the young master. The city lord and the young master are back. Spark City, which was originally lifeless, immediately burst into cheers. Now that the city lord is back, all the problems will no longer be a problem. Chen Lei waved to summon the superpower he had sent back earlier. After understanding the situation, Dad smiled and said to Chen Chu, "You brat, go to your residence to visit your daughters-in-law first. They won't come out without you. As for the arrangements required for the wedding, they have been prepared. You can marry your wife tonight." Chen Chu nodded and agreed. These days, he also couldn't wait to see his wives and concubines. Thinking that his wife Yi Miao and his concubine Xiao Chao are still pregnant, this longing becomes even stronger. "Achu, go quickly. Don't worry about us. Let's prepare for the wedding first." Su Lan is very considerate. Her face was red and she smiled at Chen Chu. "We, see you tonight." Chen Chu smiled and rubbed Su Lan and Lu Ruyan's hair. Then he rushed home with Yueling. The separation before the wedding is to maintain a sense of mystery, so that we can be more joyful. "Husband, you are finally back." Chen Chu opened the door. The wives and concubines waiting in the living room immediately gathered around. The pregnancy of his wife Yi Miao can already be seen on her lower abdomen. As for Xiao Chao, her belly is already obvious and she will give birth soon. "I'm back, everything is safe." Chen Chu hugged the concubines who had been worried for a long time. "Sure enough, it still feels like home the best. Teacher, is my sister okay?" After Chen Chu had finished reminiscing about old times, Zhang Qingshui summoned up the courage to ask. Chen Chu nodded. "Sister Fenju is very good. I gained a lot this time." Zhang Qingshui breathed a sigh of relief at these words. She absolutely believed what the teacher said. Don't leave for the next 2 days. Sister Fenju will come over later. Today is Su Lan and I's wedding day. As soon as these words came out, the concubines cheered. My husband is awesome. Sure enough, I captured Sister Su Lan. In this case, I won't reminisce with my husband today. The quirky Xiao Chao spoke. They miss Chen Chu very much these days. Chen Chu pinched her cheek gently. You're about to give birth, how can you reminisce about the past? Xiao Chao was in pain, rubbing her face and holding her sister Da Chao's hand. Don't you have a sister? Also, about the superpowers between their sisters. Husband belongs to Sister Su Lan today. Da Chao spoke shyly. Chen Chu looked around at his 18 concubines. Haven't seen you for a long time, I really miss you. I'll deal with you again in 2 days. There are lanterns and colorful decorations, and gongs and drums are noisy. 100 meters red carpet, 8 sedan chairs. The end of the year, the 33rd year of the end of the world. Chen Chu finally married Su Lan home and became his 19th wife. With the continuous development of Spark City over the years, the standard of Chen Chu's wedding is getting higher and higher. Evening. After drinking and chatting with everyone, Chen Chu, who was already slightly tipsy, walked into the wedding room with shaky steps. Looking at Su Lan who was sitting awkwardly in front of him. Chen Chu smiled. At the end of his 21st year, he finally turned Sister Lan into his little wife. Sister Lan. Chen Chu approached. Su Lan's gentle voice came from the room. Call me Su Lan. The plane is the tallest in the sky, and the glasses on the ground are the most. The ancients do not deceive me. The second day, Chen Chu leaned against the wall and came out. At noon, Su Lan formally ate with the other concubines. Suren today, there are some different styles revealed between the eyebrows and eyes. She stretched out her clear white fingers and pushed her glasses, curiously looking at the new environment. From now on, she will start a new life. From now on, her identity will be Chen Chu's concubine. Su Lan smiled, her pink face was filled with a touch of happiness. Husband, are you okay? His wife Yi Miao served Chen Chu a bowl of chicken soup with ginseng, wolfberry and velvet antler. Chen Chu killed it in one gulp. I can do it. Should I take a rest first and marry Rian another day? Yi Miao still feels distressed. Chen Chu gritted his teeth, luck flowed through his whole body, and adjusted his physical condition to the best. It's worth it. After finishing speaking, he secretly glanced at Yueling. It's all the fault of this witch. In the past few days, I have been running my physique crazily. Yueling stuck out her tongue mischievously. After finishing the porridge in the bowl, he immediately got up and ran. I'm done eating, I'm going to see Rian, and by the way, tell Rian about the preparations she needs to make on her wedding day. Seeing Yueling's happy face, Chen Chu had a slight headache. Perhaps being promoted to transcendence is the only way to suppress her. Night. Xingwo City took down the old red from yesterday and replaced it with a new red. A new feast begins. Sorry for being late. Zhang Fenju brought people to the banquet site. Sister. Zhang Qingshui immediately ran to her side. Zhang Fenju gently stroked her head. Fortunately, I sent you to Starfire City. What happened to Sister Fenju? Chen Chu, who was wearing a well-fitting wedding dress, asked. It stands to reason that Zhang Fenju would have arrived yesterday. Zhang Fenju frowned, and told the story with a flat expression. So, during your absence, there was a riot in Raging Fire City. Chen Chu stared. I go, what's going on with this Raging Fire City? It's so complicated. Fortunately, I put my future little wife Zhang Qingshui in the shelter first. Otherwise, if something happened, but he will really destroy a city. Zhang Fenju exhaled. It's Secretary Li, who thought I would die in the Corpse King City, and shortly after I left, she took her power to fight directly. And she made double preparations to grab Qingshui and deal with me. After all, I care about Qingshui the most. Although Zhang Fenju only said a few words, but Chen Chu knew that things were much more complicated than this, and bloody storms were inevitable. Fortunately, Secretary Li did not succeed. Elder sister. Zhang Qingshui was stunned. She again, almost killed my sister. If the teacher hadn't asked her to stay in Starfire City, Secretary Li might have gotten her way. Seemed to be, really a waste, to drag the oil bottle. Zhang Qingshui bowed his head in silence and did not speak. Chen Chu rarely hit her this time. He felt the strong sadness in Zhang Qingshui's heart. The future concubine that he has decided by default can only be bullied by himself. Outsiders dare to move, that is death. Secretary Li was lucky this time, and died at the hands of Zhang Fenju. He glanced at Zhang Qingshui, who had been silent for a long time. Chen Chu felt helpless for a while. Fool, you are the owner of SS-level talent, the most dazzling existence in the entire Xi province. However, Chen Chu did not speak out. Talent without awakening is no talent. How about saying it? How can Zhang Qingshui's talent be awakened? Chen Chu frowned. Originally, I wanted to trick her into becoming a concubine before discussing this issue, but now it seems that I have to start exploring. Otherwise, if this continues, Zhang Qingshui will probably go bad. Hint: Zhang Qingshui's talent can be activated by swallowing 10 life polyps. The sudden appearance of the system. Display the entry in Chen Chu's mind. The system understands. Then you didn't tell me earlier. 10 life polyps, that means killing 10 level 9 monsters. No. The probability of life polyps appearing among 9th level monsters is only 1%. However, Chen Chu's strength far exceeds the 9th level, so this is not a problem at all. The problem is, I've never heard of a 9th level monster in Province C. The fake 9th level of the Corpse King appeared because of the mysterious man's plan. Where can he find 10 true 9th levels? It seems that we need to use space powers in the future to have a clear grasp of Province C and the surrounding environment. Nothing is unachievable, now that we know the conditions for Zhang Qingshui's awakening. That would be much easier to handle. A concubine with SS-level talent. I am somewhat looking forward to it. Chen Chu rubbed Zhang Qingshui's hair. Don't think so much, as long as everything is fine. Zhang Qingshui's neck shrank due to this sudden movement. Unconsciously, he showed the same cute expression as when a kitten was being petted. Zhang Fenju was stunned by this scene. My sister, who is as arrogant as an iceberg and keeps strangers away. How could it be possible? Something weird. There's definitely something weird. Zhang Fenju looked at Chen Chu and Zhang Qingshui, his beautiful eyes shining brightly. This seems a very good choice. It seems that I need to work harder and help my sister. Sister Fenju, your seat is next to my father. I will go pick up the bride first. The auspicious time has arrived. After Chen Chu greeted a few people, he stepped towards the bride Lu Ruyan's place. Today is his and Lu Ruyan's wedding day. Evening. Marriage room. Chen Chu was a little surprised. Where did you find this kind of clothes? Lu Ruyan blushed slightly. During the expansion of the city, a warehouse was excavated underground. It should be a clothing store that fell into the cracks in the earth at the end of the world. Husband, do you like it? Chen Chu's Adam's apple rolled. The second day, inside the restaurant, Chen Chu looked at his neatly arranged 20 wives and concubines with a smile on his face. In the end of the world, family can always bring the greatest happiness to people. After he looked at Lu Ruyan, his smile became even brighter. In the past, I had only heard that people with fire powers were very popular in the Ice Age. Chen Chu always thought it was because people with fire powers could preserve the body temperature of dying people in the wild. Until last night, Lu Ruyan said something. It made him recognize the fire power user from another perspective. That sentence is, would you like to try 40 degrees? Chen Chu thought of Zhang Fenju inexplicably. She is the most powerful fire-type psychic in the entire Xi province. Rumor has it that she has developed fire powers to incredible heights. What if, just thinking about it, Chen Chu couldn't help but shudder. At the same time, Chen Chu also made a vow in his heart. Sister Fenju must be married. Xiao Chao, if it's inconvenient for you, don't come to the restaurant in person. I'll have someone bring the food to your room. Seeing that Xiao Chao had difficulty moving, Chen Chu spoke. The day for Xiao Chao's delivery is getting closer and closer. Her life also began to become inconvenient. Xiao Chao pouted. Do you like to eat with your husband? Chen Chu smiled and said. After that, I'll go to your room and eat with you. Okay. Xiao Chao raised his hands happily, showing his little tiger teeth. Chen Chu smiled dotingly. He must pamper his wives and concubines. After dinner, in the villa, an uninvited guest came. Zhang Qingshui walked into the door carrying a large suitcase. Showing a sweet smile. Teacher, I will stay at your teacher's house and learn gun skills with you in the next few days. Teacher, please take care of me. By the way, I brought a lot of yoga tutorial DVDs. I will definitely train hard. Please, teacher. Bright lights. Doorstep. Young and beautiful girl. Smiling like a flower. Everything is so beautiful. But Chen Chu was a little confused. Why didn't he know that Zhang Qingshui was coming to live with him? Ha ha ha, son. I and Huo Fengwang worked together to bring Zhang Qingshui to your home. You should seize the opportunity and create a good grandson for our two cities as soon as possible. Outside the door, Chen Lei's bold voice echoed. He opened the door and saw Zhang Qingshui, who was carrying a suitcase, looking down at his toes with a slightly red face. Chen Chu, who looked confused, turned to stone on the spot. Cough. Chen Lei immediately stopped his smile, coughed lightly, scratched his head and looked around. Hey, where is Xiaohan? Let me see if he has broken through the 4th level recently. These words made the petrified Chen Chu even more helpless. Dad, Xiaohan is less than 4 years old. The 3rd to 4th levels are hurdles. Many people with low levels and low potential will be stuck at level 3 throughout their lives. His eldest son, Chen Han, is less than 4 years old and at the 3rd level. He is already a genius among geniuses. Xiao Han and Xiao Shou are looking for little monsters on the border there. Chen Chu pointed out to a place. I guessed it right away. Chen Lei chuckled and turned away. Before leaving, my father did not forget to say to Zhang Qingshui. Xiao Zhang, you can stay in Spark City as long as you want. Just treat this as your own home. If you miss your sister, there's no need to go back. I'll have someone notify her to come see you. Well, thank you City Master Chen. Zhang Qingshui responded softly. Chen Lei grinned and walked out of the door. Zhang Qingshui kept lowering his head and looking at his toes, his face pink. Why, it feels like I'm getting married. Chen Chu shook his head and shouted to his concubine behind him. Xingyu, take her to choose a room. Okay, husband. The little beauty with twin ponytails jumped up to Zhang Qing, enthusiastically helped her carry her luggage, and then took her to choose a room. Zhang Qingshui repeatedly waved her hand and refused, saying that she would carry the luggage. But now, as an ordinary person, how could she possibly win over Xingyu? After in-depth study of the 36 techniques of the Deep Palace, Xingyu is now at the peak of the 5th level. Looking at the red-faced Zhang Qingshui, she followed Xingyu a little awkwardly to choose a room. Chen Chu nodded slightly. Zhang Qingshui is his default wife. After the rebellion in Agni City, he was really worried about Zhang Qingshui staying elsewhere. In the days that followed, Chen Chu mainly spends his time working hard with his concubines. About 12 hours a day. The rest of the time is spent doing chores and playing with the children. And he took an hour out of it to teach Zhang Qing water gun skills. It was said that he was teaching spear skills, but in fact it was more about making her beat her legs and squeeze her shoulders. Sometimes on a whim, I check out Zhang Qingshui's yoga training results. This process often ends with Zhang Qingshui blushing deeply. Finally, after Chen Chu criticized him many times, he added other training items to Zhang Qingshui. Dancing. Have you ever heard of it? We ordinary people don't have special powers, so we can only start with physical fitness, strength and flexibility, agility, etc. After that, Zhang Qingshui added dance learning to his daily life. And she also learned to draw inferences from one example. During the subsequent training process, ask Chen Chu. Teacher, yoga increases flexibility and dance increases flexibility. So should I also add fitness? To enhance physical strength. These words made Chen Chu silent. After a moment, he said extremely seriously and deeply. I originally wanted to wait until you have trained for a while before I mention this to you. After all, it's very hard for ordinary people to perform 3 types of training at the same time. Zhang Qingshui's face was full of seriousness and stubbornness. Teacher, I'm not afraid of hard work. As long as I can become stronger, I can do whatever the teacher asks me to do. Please teach me, please, teacher. Chen Chu, reluctantly, joined Zhang Qingshui's fitness training plan. Although we shooters use handheld guns to shoot, it is actually more important to have a stable base. Your fitness Exercises should focus more on squats and lower body, do you understand? Zhang Qingshui closed his notes. He clasped his hands on his chest, extremely sincere. Teacher, I have no experience in fitness. Please be my fitness coach, please. Chen Chu, fitness coach. Haha, easy to talk about. 1 month of training. The results of Zhang Qingshui's fitness are very obvious. No, it can be said that Zhang Qingshui is extremely talented in fitness. Chen Chu is extremely satisfied with this. At the same time he began to think again. The fruit is ripe, is it time to start picking it yourself? Well, then I'm going to trick Sister Fenju. Chen Chu has a plan. Zhang Qingshui's biggest bond is Zhang Fenju. I have almost developed it here, and it is time to attack from another angle. At the same time, the search for 9th level monsters must also be put on the agenda. It's time to activate Zhang Qingshui's talent. The strongest in Province C, SS level, with the body of an angel. The beginning of the 34th year of the end of the world. Xiao Chao was pushed into the delivery room again. Although with the rapid expansion of Spark City, the medical department has gained many outstanding doctors with special powers. But this time the surgeon was still Su Lan. Because the entire medical department. She is the doctor who delivers the most babies. What's more, Xiao Chao is her husband's concubine and her own sister. She doesn't feel comfortable leaving it to others. Xiao Chao, I leave it to you. Outside the delivery room, Chen Chu warned. Su Lan smiled lightly. Don't worry, husband, I will do my best. Every time she delivered a baby, Su Lan would concentrate on using the wood power to ensure the safety of his wife, concubines, and children. So Chen Chu was still very relieved about Su Lan. The door to the delivery room is closed and the red light is on. This is a special medical department specially built by Dad to deliver babies to Chen Chu's concubine. It is also equipped with the best equipment and the best obstetricians in Zhanghai City. Think of having such a powerful guarantee. The little tension in Chen Chu's heart was also smoothed away. He sat quietly on the sofa outside, waiting for the birth of his 19th child. Time flies by. The red light in the delivery room turns to green. Su Lan, wearing a white coat, walked out holding a little baby. She took off her mask and smiled brightly. Husband, this is my daughter. Chen Chu stepped forward and took the baby. At the moment of contact, his sensitive senses noticed that there seemed to be something wrong with the supernatural aura on this child. It seems a little dark. At this time, the system sounded in time. Detect host offspring +1, talent, A+ grade demonic tentacles. The host receives a reward, random item X1. Intermediate 3D upgrade X1. Grade A+. Chen Chu's eyes lit up. This level, among his 19 descendants, can already be ranked in the top 3. This means that the rewards you get will be very good. Chen Chu looked at his newborn daughter with a smile on his face. The arrival of this child can bring him a lot of strength growth. When Chen Chu laughed, his daughter also stared at Chen Chu with her round eyes. But don't know why, Chen Chu is actually on the face of a newborn baby. I saw the expression of ghost horse spirit. He thought of his daughter's talent, devil tentacles, again. This is the first talent of the dark department in his descendants. But Chen Chu didn't care too much. With the eldest son, Chen Han, the monster at the front, his psychological ability has become much stronger. It's just a ghost horse spirit expression. You know, Chen Han just spoke directly. Leave your thoughts behind. Chen Chu strode into the delivery room with the baby in his arms, and came to Xiao Chao's side. Xiao Chao was the first among his concubines to give him a second child. And Xiao Chao was pregnant with twins last time. After all, the two already have 3 children. Husband. The sweaty little Chao spoke softly. Chen Chu gently wiped her sweat. Xiao Chao is usually eccentric, but he is very fond of him. Look, our child is a daughter. And it's a superhuman, A+ grade. Really, Xiao Chao's tired eyes became bright. That's great, I gave birth to an A+ grade heir for my husband. Chen Chu looked at Xiao Chao with a smile. Little Chao has worked hard for you. In the past 4 years, 3 children have been born. Maybe everyone's body is different. In the past 4 years, Xiao Chao is either pregnant or on the way to give birth. Xiao Chao glanced at the child quietly, then slightly raised her head and approached Chen Chu. It's not hard, I like to be with my husband, well. Chen Chu rubbed her head lovingly. We already have 3 children, if you don't want to have any more, just tell me. I now have 20 concubines. And my father is thinking about how to get more concubines for himself every day. So there is no need to worry that there will be no heirs born in the future. In Chen Chu's consideration, each concubine can give birth to 3 children at most, which is already very good. If this amount is exceeded, it may affect the concubine's body. Xiao Chao was taken aback. If you're not pregnant, you can't. She paused. Frowning, he leaned close to Chen Chu's ear and whispered. Chen Chu nodded amusedly. Of course not. As soon as these words came out, Xiao Chao's mouth immediately shrunk. No, Xiao Chao is going to get pregnant. Little Chao just wants my husband to give it all to me. Listening to the words of tiger and wolf coming from the mouth of a beautiful girl, Chen Chu felt the great contrast. Although this dynamic and beautiful girl is already the mother of 3 children. He pinched Xiao Chao's nose lightly. Laughed. Okay, I'm just giving you a choice. I don't want you to work too hard. Xiao Chao smiled. Hee hee, and the expression of, old driver, appeared on the beautiful girl's face. Little Chao doesn't work hard, it's my husband who works hard every time. Boom. Ouch. Chen Chu flicked Xiao Chao's forehead with his index finger. You just gave birth, don't think about these messy things. Little Joe rubbed his head. No, Xiao Chao is in good health, she is fine now, and can go home with her husband. Not yet, I need to rest for a few days. Before Chen Chu could speak, Su Lan walked in. Although Xiao Chao can be naughty in front of Chen Chu, but she also knew that Chen Chu would definitely let her listen to the doctor. She lay back on the bed. Some have nothing to love. Oh well, that's good. Chen Chu ruffled her hair. Xiao Chao rolled her eyes and leaned close to Chen Chu's ear. Husband, why don't you go find your sister today? Looking at Xiao Chao's pitiful and pleading expression, Chen Chu nodded in agreement. Xiao Chao excitedly told Chen Chu a lot of precautions. In the end, he watched Chen Chu leave with longing. Because she just gave birth, she needs Su Lan's rehabilitation. The newborn baby also needs a comprehensive examination. Child's name. It was Chen Chu who picked it up with Xiao Chao in the delivery room. Called Chen Mo. 8 girls, Chen Mo. Villa residence, inside the practice room. Name Chen Mo. Identity 8th daughter. Birthday February 1st 34th year of the end of the world. Talent A+ level demonic tentacles. Potential S. Oh, there are new changes to the panel. Age in the property panel of Chen Chu's heirs has changed to birthday. The date of birth of the heir is clearly recorded above. Fair enough. Initially, Chen Chu was worried that after he had more children, he would forget his children's birthdays. He is planning to make a children's birthday record booklet. After all, every year on his birthday, his father would prepare an expensive extraordinary object for him, and the whole city would celebrate it. Now that he is a father, he cannot forget his child's birthday. Now there is a system to help him remember, which is much more convenient. Close the descendants panel. Chen Chu received the system reward. Received successfully. Congratulations to the host for getting level breaking card. Level breaking card consumption below the basic 10th level, it can be easily broken at any level. Level breaking card. Chen Chu frowned. Although it is a consumable that can only be used once. But this thing seems a bit fierce. Doesn't that mean that he can easily reach the 10th level? Although Chen Chu's overall strength now exceeds the 9th level, his most powerful power, the space power, is only at the peak of the 8th level. Thinking about it this way, this reward should be used when the 9th level is promoted to the 10th level in order to maximize the benefits. It has been 3 months since reaching the 8th level peak. Chen Chu diligently practices the 36 methods of Deep Palace with his concubines every day. Especially the physical blessing of the little succubus Ouling. His spatial ability has already reached the edge of the 9th level. Just in time, now is the time. Chen Chu took out a large number of zombie crystal nuclei from the supernatural space and absorbed them crazily, adjusting his own state to its peak state. Subsequently, system, receive the 3-dimensional reward. Congratulations to the host, you successfully received the intermediate 3-dimensional upgrade. Intermediate life increase +1. Intermediate talent improvement +1. Intermediate potential increased by +1. 3 familiar tingling sensations came. A blue spiritual ring lit up outside his body. 9th level. The space ability was successfully upgraded to the early 9th level. The overall strength has probably increased by about twice. Chen Chu's strength is very complex and comprehensive. The spatial ability is one of Chen Chu's many abilities. Breaking through a level can actually double his overall strength. This is enough to represent the huge gap between the 8th and 9th levels. After my father broke through to the 9th level, his strength increased more than 10 times compared to the 8th level. This also shows how powerful Chen Chu is. Invincible at the same level. And he can kill even if he crosses the rank. As for the higher level transcendent, he has not come into contact with it yet and does not know the specific strength. Call. Take a long breath of white breath. Chen Chu placed a pile of zombie crystal nuclei in front of him. Afterwards, the space power started crazily. 2 dark blue energy vortexes formed in the palms of his hands. Mid-9th level, late 9th level. 2 hours passed in the blink of an eye. Chen Chu's strength has reached its best state in the late 9th level. But I always feel a little short of reaching the 9th level peak. Only when your strength reaches the peak of the 9th level can you use the level breaking card to achieve the 10th level. Just when Chen Chu frowned slightly and planned to go to the little succubus Ouling to improve his strength, the cold mechanical sound of the system sounded. Detecting the host's eldest son Chen Han, he successfully broke through the basic 4th level, and the host received feedback on his strength. Park. There was a soft sound of water droplets. Chen Chu's space ability was loosened in the late 9th level, and he successfully reached the peak of the 9th level and touched the edge of the 10th level. Chen Chu has a feeling. Going from level 9 to level 10 is an extremely difficult pass. If he were allowed to practice on his own, he wouldn't be able to achieve a breakthrough until he has practiced for a long time. Without any hesitation, Chen turned his hand over, and a dark black card appeared in his hand. Use the level breaking card. Boom! There was an explosion in the practice room. A large and thick dark blue spiritual ring rose from the soles of Chen Chu's feet. The dazzling blue fills the entire space. Space power, level 10. It's done. In the practice room of hundreds of square meters, the dark blue supernatural energy overflowed, and the space vortices were torn apart one by one. Slowly, the overflowing energy began to converge into Chen Chu's body. The torn space vortex also gradually recovered. After the space has completely recovered its calm, Chen Chu opened his eyes, and 2 azure blue lights shot out from his eyes. Then, a terrifying breath unfolded. This is the powerhouse of the 10th rank. If we go back to 2 months ago, facing the Corpse King in the mid-9th stage, Chen Chu didn't need to spend a lot of time to restrain it with the force of space and gravity, and then use the meteorite to kill it. Just one thought. The spatial ability can break open the Corpse King's head and directly smash its brain into a paste. It's the difference in rank. Absorbing the terrifying aura into the body, the eyes are completely hidden. Chen Chu once again restored the image of an ordinary person. According to Chen Chu's previous plan, he probably can stop pretending when he reaches the 10th rank. I am the strongest in Province C, so I have a showdown. But now there is a transcendent of Lao Shizi. He also took other people's eggs. So it's better to fight first, strengthen your strength, and then we'll see the situation. I'm very strong now, not a simple 10th order supernatural being. I think I won't be helpless against Xiaofan. Certainly, most importantly, Chen Chu has spatial abilities. Extraordinary. Hey, you are the destruction of the world and none of my business. You can still take your family and hide in the supernatural space. As the spatial ability breaks through the 10th order, the ability space expands into a space with a size of 5000 x 5000 x 5000. And Chen Chu also found that he can change the length, width and height of the space at will. Only the total volume will not change, and the time he can stay in it will be even longer, 10 days at a time. This also gave Chen Chu an idea. As the strength grows, the longer he can stay in the supernatural space. Does that mean that, one day, he can have a world of his own? At that time, no matter how powerful the opponent is, I hide from the space when the opponent is at the peak, and I ride on the face when the opponent is down. Thinking of this, the corners of Chen Chu's mouth curled up. Sounds like a good idea. Whether facing the opponent head-on or running away, you need to constantly improve your strength. Chen Chu was firm in his heart. And the means to improve your strength is hard work, more children, more blessings. Dao heart is set. Then focus on the Dao. Chen Chu walked out of the practice room without hesitation. Carry away a princess, Yueling, who was watching dramas in the living room. Then he turned to Big Joe. You are in the second half. The second day. Dining room. Chen Chu put the palm-sized lobster into his mouth in a refreshed manner. And Yueling was grinding her small canine teeth, holding a fork in her hand, poking the food on the plate into pieces. It's actually a tie this time. It seems that I have to continue to develop my physique, otherwise my husband will be able to bully me as he gets stronger and stronger. Where's Sister Da Chao? Are you still up? Yi Miao, with her belly puffed out, counted the people on the table seriously. Xingyu raised her hand. Sister Da Chao just fell asleep. All right. As soon as this remark came out, everyone knew what was going on. Yi Miao shook her head with a helpless smile, and filled Chen Chu with a cup of chicken soup. Chen Chu waved his hand. No need. At this time, Su Lan, who was wearing a white coat, walked into the house. Seeing Su Lan's tired look, Yi Miao handed her the chicken soup in her hand. Thank you, Miao Miao. Su Lan laughed, and sat down drinking chicken soup. It's really strange. I was planning to go home in the first half of the night, but I didn't expect Xiao Chao's body to suddenly secrete a large amount of dopamine in the second half of the night, which shocked me. I observed it all night, but found nothing unusual. It's like her body has been inexplicably excited all night. Quiet, unbelievably quiet. All eyes were on Chen Chu. When we came together before, we knew the abilities of the two sisters. The smiling wife, Yi Miao, stretched out her hand under the dining table and gently pinched Chen Chu. Master, the city lord is looking for you. At this time, the guard at the door came to the rescue. Chen Chu's expression was calm. Okay. After speaking, he turned his head and kissed his wife Yi Miao. Then get up quickly and leave. Yi Miao looked at Chen Chu's back helplessly and amusedly. Father, you are looking for me. Chen Chu walked into the city lord's mansion. It was found that only Dad was there. Smelly boy, come and see. The old man smiled and called Chen Chu over. On the table in front of him was a large sand table map. The general map of the entire Xi province is marked on it. See this. Dad pointed to a small castle. It says, Eastwater City. A giant city, Eastwater City. I heard that the owner of the city is an A+ level 8th level peak water type supernatural power. Chen Chu has learned a lot about Xi province over the years. Chen Lei nodded. That's right, Ao Dong, the lord of Eastwater City, has the ability of the water system in his hand. In the end of the glacier era, his attack power is super strong. So, Dongshui City is a big city worthy of the name in the entire province of Xi. Chen Chu nodded. So Dongshui City is one of the cities that planned to intercept our retreat last time? Chen Chu asked. In the last days, the strong are respected, and revenge must be avenged. Others dare to attack you. If you don't get back your position, you will be looked down upon, and you will lose your right to speak from now on. Anyone dares to come up and step on you. Since Ao Dong dared to attack his own city and his family. So, this Shuadong city is about to perish. The substantial increase in strength gave Chen Chu confidence. Ha ha ha, no. Chen Lei laughed and scratched his head. That old boy Ao Dong didn't join the team to stop us. It's just that he just happens to have a daughter of the A-level wooden department. I heard that she looks good, and I plan to snatch it for you as a concubine. Chen Chu. Chen Lei patted Chen Chu's shoulder indifferently. Other giant cities are too far away, and travel is difficult. Who made this Eastwater City close to us? Since we want to dominate Province C, we should fight in the morning and in the evening. Take Dongshui City first. Get a concubine for you kid first. Then start from Eastwater City and push outward. Chen Lei made a decision with a wave of his hand. As for his father's choice, Chen Chu agreed with both hands. The family is getting bigger and bigger, so the power must continue to expand. It's not a big problem if you have your own pocket. And Chen Chu has only one problem. Father, are you sure? Then Ao Dong's daughter is pretty. A-grade wood, sounds very good. If it is really a big beauty, it will be even more perfect. Chen Chu has 20 concubines, all of which are stunning with their own characteristics. He was also raised unknowingly. Chen Lei smiled and said, "You brat, don't worry, the Ao family is famous for having many handsome men and women, and that pretty boy of Ao Dong's daughter will definitely satisfy you. This journey is about 300 kilometers, and the time is relatively long. We will start in a month. You can go back and prepare." Chen Chu nodded. Okay. Then he stepped out the door. I don't know how long it will take to come back from this trip, and I have to be more tender with my wives and concubines during this month. 19-year-old wife Su Lan and 20-year-old wife Lu Rian are new friends. So Chen Chu has been focusing on them for a month. 12 hours of farming time per day. Little demon girl O Yueling 2 hours. 4 hours for Su Lan and Rian Lu. 6 hours for other concubines. Perfect distribution. And within a month, no accident. Several concubines became pregnant one after another. Su Lan was the first to make noise. One morning, Su Lan rubbed her belly, her eyes were shining brightly, and she happily walked to Chen Chu's side. Leaning lightly on his shoulder. "Husband, I have our child. Siren, tall and beautiful, with gold-rimmed glasses and a white coat. Intellectual super beauty, the person I have liked since childhood." After 3.5 years of strategy, he became his 19th wife. "Now I have my own child." Chen Chu was extremely excited. Even in the past 4 years, his strength and knowledge have undergone earth-shaking changes. But this feeling of, finally realizing my childhood dream, can still have an impact. Certainly, the biggest thing is definitely joy. Chen Chu happily picked up Su Lan and spun her around several times. Su Lan called in surprise. Not long after Su Lan became pregnant, Lu Rian was also happy. Thus, 3 of the wives and concubines were pregnant. Yi Miao, Su Lan, Lu Rian. 2 more concubines are missing. Chen Chu's energy was naturally focused on other concubines. During this month, 5 more concubines became pregnant one after another. Among these 5 concubines, one of them is the concubine bought from Zhang Yazi, Wang Yan, superpower, D-level meditation power, strength, 3rd level peak. The remaining 4 were 4 of the 10 that Dad grabbed when he expanded Spark City into a giant city. They are also in the same group as the little beauty star Yu and the little witch O Yueling. Most of their abilities are at level B and C, and their strength is level 4 or above. This also led Chen Chu to discover a pattern. It seemed that the higher the wife's power level and the stronger her strength, the easier it was to get pregnant. Chen Chu asked each concubine. The 5 concubines bought from Zhang Yazi were the lowest in rank and strength among his 20 concubines. According to what they said, "In the past few months, every time, I feel warm inside my body, and my strength becomes stronger." There are now 5 concubines, all of whom are at the 3rd level of peak strength. Just one step away from crossing the threshold and entering the 4th level. And this kind of strengthening is not entirely the effect of the 36 methods of Deep Palace. Chen Chu mused, could it be that as I quickly became stronger, the low-level and low-strength concubines were unable to match this increase in strength, so in the end it turned into energy that made them stronger. It seems that when taking concubines in the future, you must choose high-quality concubines, so that you can continue to have more children and more happiness. Chen Chu has conclusions and considerations. Of course, for my 5 low-strength concubines, Chen Chu didn't dislike it either, since he can make them stronger. Then just improve their strength enough to match yours. After, Chen Chu spent a lot of time on the 4 concubines with low strength. Because Wang Yan is pregnant, she cannot reveal her strength for the time being. 1 month later, before setting off to Dongshui City, the 4 concubines have all entered the 4th level. At the door of the villa, a heavily armed guard ran to the door to inform. "Master, the city lord is already at the city gate and can leave at any time." Chen Chu nodded. "I understand, just wait for me for a moment." Today is the day to set off for Dongshui City. A journey of 300 kilometers is considered a long distance in the apocalypse of glaciers. "Husband, we will practice hard during your absence. When you come back next time, we will definitely become stronger." The 4 concubines who had just entered the 4th level were in tears. Although this time they left the city to expand their forces and prepare to dominate Province C. But when I thought about not seeing Chen Chu for several months, tears fell unconsciously. Who would give up a husband who is handsome, kind to me, and capable? Chen Chu hugged them one by one. I will test it when I get back. These words made the 4 concubines blush slightly and their eyes were filled with anticipation. After saying goodbye to the other concubines, Chen Chu again focused on Yi Miao's pregnant wives and concubines. He currently has 8 concubines who are pregnant. Among them, his wife Yi Miao has lived the longest. It's been 6 months, followed by Su Lan, 1 month. Lu Ruyan and the other 6 concubines were just 10 days pregnant. Husband. Yi Miao's eyes were red. Yi Miao's emotions became more sensitive as the delivery approached. But she knew that her husband and father were going to expand their strength. Let the family and the family members live a better life. She bit her lower lip, fighting back tears. Husband, I will wait for your return. Chen Chu felt warm in his heart, hugged his wife in his arms, and kissed her forehead. I'll be back before you give birth. Really? Yi Miao looked up with joy in her eyes. I will give birth in more than 3 months. Chen Chu nodded with a smile. Yi Miao buried her small head in Chen Chu's arms and took a deep breath. Husband, I'll wait for you at home, and I won't go there either. After saying goodbye to Yi Miao, Chen Chu walked up to Su Lan and Lu Ruyan. After all, Su Lan has seen the big world since she was a child. She smiled gently. I'll help you take care of your family, my Ah Chu. Ah Chu, it's been a long time since I heard this title. Chen Chu smiled knowingly. Ruyan will also wait for the young master to come back. Lu Ruyan also had red eyes. In the past, she always protected Chen Chu when she went out. Not this time. Call me husband, not young master. Chen Chu tugged at her soft face. Say goodbye to wives and concubines. And told him that if something happened, he must hide in the house. His own villa is a boutique-level shelter, and he has stored a lot of supplies in it. Can cover. Then he followed the guards to the entrance of the city. And a figure followed behind him furtively. Sister Oyu, where are you going? The little girl Xingyu asked. Yueling, who walked quietly to the door, turned her head in embarrassment. She stretched out her hand, and pink light bloomed in her hand. I'm sorry, I happened to break through the 7th step, so I can go with my husband. Chen Chu turned his head when he heard that. The little succubus Yueling is already at the peak of the 8th level. The entire Starfire city, excluding the secret boss Chen Chu. Yueling's strength is only inferior to her father's. These words made Xingyu's eyes brighten. She happily showed her little canine teeth, raised her hand, and said in a sweet tone. Husband, I want to go too. As she spoke, a flickering light bloomed from her body. I also broke through, 6th order. Tier 6, even among the giant cities, is an elite level. Even in Dad's team, he is still the main force. And Xingyu's ability is still a special light system, starlight twinkling. Heals and attacks, and is also good at restraining zombies. And, Xingyu is not pregnant and can go out. It won't delay Dad's progress. Chen Chu nodded. Okay, you come too. Yueling is strong, and her physique really makes Chen Chu want to stop. And the little beauty Xingyu has the ability to make people feel happy when they see it. And, foreign girls are indeed different. So the two are the best choices. And Chen Chu didn't notice that Zhang Qingshui, who was standing at the stairs, also had red eyes, but she knew. She will only be dragging her feet now. Chen Chu walked out of the house with the plump little succubus Yueling and the bouncing blonde twin-tail Xingyu. Just went out. Then a large number of fully armed guards protected the villa in all directions. Obviously, the arsenal that was harvested brought good results. Moreover, Chen Chu also felt that there were 3 supernatural auras around the villa. It's the 7th step. Dad sent a 7th order supernatural being to protect him. 7th rank, the top expert in Starfire City. The guard following Chen Chu said in a trembling voice. Don't worry, young master, apart from what the city lord has arranged, the city lord of Raging Fire City will also help take care of it during this period. The safety of the young wives and young masters will not be a problem. With Sister Fenju taking care of me, I can rest assured. Chen Chu nodded. So, Now you can leave Eastwater City with peace of mind. Go grab the 21st little wife, A-level wood-type supernatural power, Ching. Boundless snow fields, the desperate cold, the suffocating whiteness. It's been more than half a month since I left Spark City. But it's still on the way. In the end of the glacier, a distance of 300 kilometers is also a big problem for people with superpowers. During this trip, Chen Lei brought a total of 300 superpowers, which was more than the total of many giant cities. But this time, we were attacking the city, so we naturally had to go all out. This trip also brought a variety of weapons, equipment and enough supplies to support 300 people for 3 months. This is also what causes the team to slow down. Inside the modified carriage, Chen Lei pointed out the map to Chen Chu. We are here now, Dongshui City is here. It will probably take about 10 days to arrive. Chen Chu was chewing on the apple boredly. Walking in the extremely cold snowfield is more difficult than wandering in the endless sea. Chen Chu originally thought that based on the speed of the previous attack on the Corpse King City, the 300 kilometers would be completed in 15 days. Unexpectedly, due to the large distance between the two places, it is difficult for a psychic to determine the path perfectly. So we basically have to turn east and west, which increases the distance and delays the time. While Dad was looking at the map carefully, Chen Chu walked into the bathroom. The so-called bathroom in the carriage is a small space. The dirt will be discharged directly out of the car along the pipes, where it will be frozen and pulverized. Guaranteed to be environmentally friendly, green and pollution-free. Buzz. With a soft cry, Chen Chu used his spatial power. Others immediately appeared in the wild sky. The blue space power enveloped him. Perception spreads. The 10th level of superpower, the current perception can extend 100 kilometers. The 3D model in Chen Chu's mind coincided with the map of Province C in his impression. Then, he immediately planned the shortest, safest and most convenient road. This road not only has simple terrain and few monsters, but also has some apocalyptic plants that can supplement the team. The next moment, Chen Chu returned to the carriage bathroom. He goes out. I happened to see the psychic who had completed today's exploration mission reporting the situation to Dad. Oh, you mean if you go here, you can reach Dongshui City in only 8 days? Chen Lei was pleasantly surprised. Yes, City Lord. Psychic Wu Wu nodded. Okay. Chen Lei waved his hand, drew a route on the map, and handed it to the guard. Give it to Xiao Song and follow this path. Chen Chu took it with a smile. I'll go, I just have some fun. Dad nodded. Okay, traveling in the wild is boring. If you persist, I will take a concubine for you right away. Chen Chu smiled, turned around and walked towards the front of the car. Driving in the glacier apocalypse is a technical job, and the Xiao Song in my father's mouth is the person in Spark City who is very skilled. Master Song, this is today's route. We will follow this route from now on and won't change it again. Xiao Song, who was attentive, saw it was Chen Chu. He immediately reached out and took it. Okay, Master. Sorry to trouble you, young Master. It's inconvenient for me to drive, so I can't salute you. I'll do one more next time. I didn't expect that a loyal black-faced man could still tell jokes. Chen Chu smiled, placed 2 oranges in front of him, then patted his shoulder and left. Done. Chen Chu modified the route. It only takes about 5 days to reach Dongshui City. Then he walked to the second carriage. It is divided into 2 parts. Half the space is used to store food supplies. The other half of the space is his living room with the little witch Yueling and the little beauty Xingyu. Open the door and walk in. A wave of heat came over. The outside of this carriage is coated with thick glazed stone powder, the interior is made of thin glazed slate, and a large amount of insulation materials are also used. Inside the carriage, Yueling swung her legs and read a book. Xingyu plays the game console with headphones. Husband. Seeing Chen Chu back, they were surprised and ran over to ask for a hug. 2 hours later, Yueling opened the book again, while Xingyu no longer had the energy to play games. Chen Chu finally had time to tell the good news. We will arrive at Dongshui City in 5 days. Okay, Xingyu has never been to such a far place. Xingyu raised her trembling hands, her weak tone full of happiness. Okay, there will be 21 girls soon, Huo Fengwang can only be 23 girls. Yueling said in surprise. Chen Chu gave her a heads up. Ever since Yueling reached the 8th level peak, she has become more and more arrogant. There is a strong intention to snatch Zhang Fenju back as his younger sister. Husband, where are we now? Yueling rubbed her head and changed the subject. Chen Chu pointed to the map on the wall. Now at this location, if we follow this road, we will reach Dongshui City in 5 days. Yueling got up, lay down on the map, and observed carefully. Before the end, the place we are now is called Shuncheng. It is the place with the largest coal reserves in Province C. Shuncheng is also called the kidney of Province C. If you can get it, Starfire City will have Darilo. In the glacial apocalypse, many energy sources have lost their function. But fossil energy sources like coal are still very useful. Chen Chu didn't speak, but his heart moved. Perception. Single quote. The space power expands, explore deeper. Snow, glaciers, mud, houses, warehouses. Then, a large number of black lumps appeared. Coal. Pick up. Single quote. As soon as the thought occurred, the coal that was originally buried deep under the snow layer immediately appeared in the supernatural space of the city. A smile appeared on Chen Chu's lips. Yueling looked at this smile and rolled her eyes, looking weird. She lay down on the bed again and read a book, and then said, casually. The next place we reach along this road is called Yecheng, before the end of the world. Before the end of the world, it was the most famous hometown of swords and ironware in the Xia Kingdom, exported to the world, so there should be a lot of cold weapons, ornamental ironware, practical ironware, iron materials, and a lot of iron ore. Hearing this, Chen Chu looked up at the map and estimated how long it would take to get to Yecheng from here. Yueling looked at Chen Chu's little action with a smile on her lips. Coal, about 6 billion tons. The next night, Chen Chu suddenly opened his eyes. During this day and a half, he released his powers at all times and searched for coal in Shuncheng. No corner was spared. Finally, they searched the whole city and obtained 6 billion tons of coal. Not only the coal mined by humans before the end of the world, but also the unmined coal underground in Shuncheng was collected by Chen Chu. In other words, he is a 10th level space superpower. Otherwise, we want to obtain these 6 billion tons of coal. Even if all the giant cities in Province C were put together, there wouldn't be a single city that couldn't be taken down within a few decades. What is the concept of 6 billion tons of coal? Enough for everyone in Spark City to last for tens of thousands of years. From now on, the manual power generation business in the city can be closed down. Spark City can also free up a lot of manpower to do other things. This also means, Spark City is about to enter a stage of rapid development. Looking at the coal occupying nearly 1/10 of the supernatural space, Chen Chu was very satisfied. There was a light in his eyes. The next target is Yecheng Iron Mine. In the dark night, Master Xiao Song drove a huge and heavy modified vehicle out of Shuncheng and slowly entered Yecheng. 2 days later, the team left Yecheng. Chen Chu stood by the carriage, looking at the vast glacial apocalypse outside through a narrow window. This time, 20 million tons of iron materials were harvested in Shuncheng, including industrial weapons, iron products, iron materials, and iron ore. Coal mines, iron ore. These two major supplies are very important even in the glacial apocalypse. Therefore, Chen Chu decided to reward the little succubus Yueling severely. And this journey is almost over. Tomorrow, we can arrive in Dongshui City. The second day, it's just dawn. Chen Chu felt that the modified car was slowly slowing down. He patted Yueling and Xingyu awake. The three got dressed and walked out of the room. Go forward and come to the first carriage. Pop was smoking a smoking cigar. Stinky boy, did you get up so early today? Chen Chu looked at the backbone of Starfire City that was being prepared all around. About to arrive, Dad smiled and said, yes. I didn't expect 8 days to be useless, but it only took 5 days. You kid, get ready for a big wedding tonight. Chen Chu looked around at the backbone equipped with starstone weapons, full of fighting spirit. Is this a direct fight? Is it so hardcore? Shouldn't we first call for information, then intimidate, first try to see if we can defeat others without fighting, and wait until we can't talk about it before fighting? Dad nodded. Hit directly. Chen Chu supported his forehead. I will go too. Go by yourself, you can guarantee that there will be no accidents. As he spoke, he showed the gun in his hand. The machine tool pulled from the Corpse King City, plus the special ore obtained during the expansion process. Mr. Liao used these materials to strengthen his firearms, and inlaid the bullets with special materials. Let his gun lethality be greatly enhanced. Originally, the Infinity Stone could only shoot B-level 6th level supernatural beings. However, if a B-level 7th level power user is shot at the critical point of the head, he can only drink hatred. Chen Lei looked at the two concubines next to Chen Chu. One is said to be of the 7th order, and the other is of the 6th order. And, I have also been promoted to the 9th rank. He waved his hand, nodded and said, "Okay, let's go together." Then, a group of people got out of the car and headed for the legendary Eastwater city. Just 2 kilometers ahead, Wu Wu, a psychic with an eagle on his shoulder, pointed ahead. Everyone has supernatural powers, and Chen Chu has 2 wives and concubines. Run forward quickly. A huge dragon-shaped ice sculpture unfolded in front of everyone. The ice sculpture in front of me is 100 meters long and tens of meters high when coiled up. It is the dragon in the legend of Sha Kingdom. Lifelike. And below the dragon, it is a series of ice sculpture buildings, formed into a frozen city. Dozens of supernatural beings and ordinary people wearing special protective clothing were among them. And as Chen Chu and others approached, these supernatural beings immediately panicked. Some of them went forward to fight, and some rushed towards the underground passage to report the news. Others shouted out, "Stop going! Stop going! Eastwater City ahead!" Can't blame them for panicking. 300 people with supernatural powers are rushing towards you with flashes of various supernatural energies. Are you panicking? And looking at the concentration of abilities, the strength is not low. And the bearded man over 2 meters tall in the center, although he didn't make a move, he was the most difficult to mess with at first sight. "Stop, ha!" Chen Lei waved his hand. The 2 7th level supernatural beings next to him made moves directly. A huge fireball spewed out, smashing the dragon's head directly. An earth-type ability bloomed, and a mountain rose below the dragon sculpture, overturning the dragon sculpture. The supernatural being who was still here was dumbfounded. This is the symbol of their Eastwater city, it is their face. This is a direct slap in the face. It's over. Quick, find the city lord quickly. The supernatural being in Dongshui City shouted and backed away. For the group of people in front, those who make casual moves are all 7th level, invincible. A moment later, teams of supernatural beings appeared from various hidden passages around. Surrounded the Starfire City team. "Hey, who am I supposed to be? Isn't this Thunder Tiger? What? Itchy skin looking for death." A middle-aged man with a gloomy face came out among a group of people. When Chen Chu saw him, he knew that he was the Lord of Eastwater City, Ao Dong, an A+ level 8th level peak water-type supernatural being. Because the old man said that there are many handsome men and women in the Ao family, especially Ao Dong is a little boy. The man in front of him should be around 50 years old. But the skin is ridiculously white, and the eyebrows are sharp and sharp. You can also think of it with your toes, the image of Ao Dong is a young fresh meat. Boom, boom, before Chen Lei could speak. The backbone of Xingwo City next to him threw big moves at Ao Dong one by one. Insult oneself, City Lord, seek death. HMPH, I see that you, Leihuo, just broke through the 8th step, so you don't know how high the sky is. Ao Dong stared, a huge water dragon roared and rose from behind him, rushing towards the attack. In a short while, under the blessing of the glacier's last days, the water dragon turned into an ice dragon, with an even fiercer aura. Boom, Ao Dong directly neutralized more than a dozen incoming big moves with one skill. Chen Lei stretched out his hand to signal his men not to move. Water Dragon King, I'm here, but I'm here for a happy occasion. Ao Dong was naturally upset because he was beaten at the door of his house. What's more, he is a peak 8th level master who has been famous for a long time, and Chen Lei only heard about breaking through the 8th level not long ago. The strong beat the weak, he accepted it. As a strong man in the last days, he understands this. But the weak beat the strong, and even hit him at the door of his house, destroying the symbol of Dongshui City. What is the difference between this and shitting on his face? Oh, a happy event. Lei Huhu, if you don't give me the entire Spark City today, I will let your happy event turn into a funeral. As soon as these words came out, the two parties were at war with each other. Chen Chu's eyes changed even more. At the same time, Ao Dong suddenly felt a terrifying aura envelope him. His legs weakened and he almost fell down. Chen Lei, who had always been domineering, didn't have much reaction now. Instead, he smiled on his face. Water Dragon King, I'm here today. I want to talk to you about the marriage between your daughter and my boy. Ao Dong looked around. The terrifying aura only appeared for a moment. Could it be an illusion? But when he heard that Chen Lei was going to marry him, he immediately laughed in anger. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, Thunder Tiger, did you make a mistake? You're good for nothing, ordinary son, a pervert who has taken dozens of concubines, still wants to marry my ice-pure, ice-snow-smart daughter. What a dream. Ao Dong laughed wildly and exaggeratedly. The superpowers in Dongshui City also laughed together. Chen Lei put away his smile just now. Ao Dong pointed at him. What? Are you unhappy? Want to start a war? Come on, I'm afraid of you. Boom. A thunderclap sounded. No one saw what happened. Chen Lei had already arrived in front of Ao Dong from 100 meters away. Under Ao Dong's incredible gaze, Chen Lei stepped directly on his head into the snow. Then he kicked and chopped him one by one. You're so shameless, right? Dare you scold me and my son? I think you are tired of living. I respect you for calling me Water Dragon King. If I look down on you, you will be a dead dog. Quiet, extremely quiet. The entire scene was filled with the sonic boom of Chen Lei kicking people with thunder and lightning. And the twitching sound of the half of Ao Dong's body left in the snow. The other superpowers in Dongshui City didn't dare to move. Because there was an extremely terrifying aura pressing on their heads. This was a horror they had never seen before. Moreover, the superpowers from Spark City have put weapons on their necks. Incredible. These hundreds of superpowers are all equipped with starstone weapons. And they are obviously at the same level, but the superpowers in Spark City have much stronger auras and much stronger concentration of superpowers. What happened? Could it be that the superpowers in Spark City eat extraordinary fruits? Drink the crystal core as water. Boom, boom, boom. The muffled sonic boom lasted for 10 minutes before Chen Lei stopped. He waved to Chen Chu. Son, come on, step on me and look at me in the face. Under the watchful eyes of hundreds of supernatural beings, Chen Chu stretched out his leg. Boom. It sounded like just a kick from an ordinary person, but Ao Dong's twitching body suddenly stopped moving. Chen Chu was confused. So weak. I just used the 6th level peak gravity ability. Chen Lei spat. Then he stretched out his big hand and pulled Ao Dong's pig head out by his hair. Ao Dong, who originally had a slender head, a pretty face, and sharp eyebrows and starry eyes. Now he really looks like a dead dog. His hair was pulled down, his nose was bruised and his face was swollen, like a pig's head, and his face was bleeding. The superpowers in Dongshui City lowered their heads and did not dare to look. The city lord who was so arrogant just now, actually turned into this miserable state in the blink of an eye. Chen Lei pulled his head and lifted him up. Your Dongshui City belongs to me from now on, do you understand? Ao Dong, who had a bruised nose and swollen face and looked unrecognizable, nodded. My boy wants to marry your daughter, do you understand? Ao Dong stiffened, snapped. Chen Lei's generous palm carried lightning and threw it directly on his face. Half of Ao Dong's face swelled up at a speed visible to the naked eye. Chen Lei then asked, understand? Ao Dong's shoulders were shaking like a dead dog, and tears actually flowed down. He seemed to have made a huge decision and nodded heavily. Ha ha ha. Chen Lei laughed heartily. He dragged Ao Tu and shouted. Young men, let's go. Your young master is getting married tonight. Immediately, warm cheers erupted at the entrance of Dongshui City. Chen Lei dragged Ao Dong. Chen Chu followed behind with 2 concubines. The superhumans from Xingwo City in the back escorted the people from Eastwater City. With Chen Lei, the 9th rank, intimidating, no one dared to fight back. S-level 9th order lightning system. Province C No. 1. Everyone filed in through the underground passage. The huge underground world unfolds. From the architectural layout of Dongshuicheng, it can be seen that Aodong definitely has a cleanliness habit. The huge underground world is like a house in Dongshui City. It's just outrageously neat, row upon row, like a small square grid piled together. The people in Starfire City looked at Dongshui City curiously. The people in Eastwater City also looked at the people in Starfire City curiously. Then, a sharp voice broke the tranquility of this underground world. The City Lord, the City Lord, the dead dog in that man's hand is the City Lord. A sound stirred up 1,000 waves. Dongshui City was completely in a panic. In the last days, it is a very serious matter for a city to be breached. Death is a small thing. More is a lot of things that life is worse than death. The city residents fled in all directions, exclaiming in alarm, and hid in their shelters. At this time, several heavily armed teams walked over cautiously holding riot shields. Guards. It's the guards. There is hope for the citizens to see. The Guard is a force organization in the city, equipped with various firepower weapons. People in front, let go of our city lord, and forbid one step forward. Otherwise, you will be sanctioned by our firepower. Talking. Several bazookas protruded from behind the shield. The bazooka is indeed a good weapon, and even some 6th level abilities will be suppressed by it. However, Chen Lei waved his hand. Dozens of speed-type superpowers rushed out immediately. Disarm the guards. Although the warm environment underground can restore the normal use of heavy weapons such as rocket launchers. In the same way, the ability of speed users in the ground is far superior to that in the extremely cold ground. Here, they are real superhumans. Only saw a few streamers. All the guards were lying on the ground with bruised noses and swollen faces. This time, the entire Eastwater City became even more flustered. The military organization that can absolutely suppress them is now easily defeated. Chen Lei listened to the crying and noise like a vegetable market. His brows were slightly wrinkled. Immediately, his whole body breath was released without reservation. Rank 9 powerhouse. Even people with supernatural powers find it difficult to persist under this terrifying atmosphere, let alone ordinary people. Hundreds of thousands of people. At the same time, I felt like I was being shot in the head with a gun. Humans don't make a scene when confronted with real fear. Moment. The entire Eastwater City fell silent. Chen Lei used supernatural powers to bless his voice. I'm Chen Lei, the Lord of Starfire City. You can call me Leihu. I won't hurt you, provided you shut up. After 2 sentences, under hundreds of thousands of pairs of eyes, Chen Lei turned into a 4-meter-tall bronze god of war with white eyes. Bronze-colored skin, eyes glowing with incandescent light, and thunder and lightning lingering all over his body. Boom! He punched one side of the rock. A huge thunderbolt rushes past. In the end, a scorched black pit was left behind. As we all know, lousy Lei Huo is a reasonable person. Chen Lei shouted to everyone in Eastwater City. So, you must also be reasonable. Just now, I have reasoned with your city lord, so now, Dongshui City belongs to me. You belong to me too. From now on, you and I are a family. The entire Eastwater City was silent. Chen Lei continued. Tonight, my son will marry Ao Qing, the daughter of Water Dragon King Ao Dong. You guys line up and re-register your personal information. Let's celebrate my son's wedding together tonight. Chen Lei's voice fell. Probing voices came from the crowd. Hail, long live. Moment. The entire Dongshui City erupted with a tidal wave of sound. Long live Chen Lei. Long live Thunder Tiger. Long live Spark City. Long live the young master. What is most important in the last days? Survival is the most important thing. No one wants to die. And many of them were survivors from other cities during Ao Dong's expansion. Ao Dong himself was beaten into a pig's head. Expect them to fight tooth and nail. Stop being funny. In the last days, there is nothing better than living. And Thunder Tiger didn't kill anyone either, just take it one step at a time. Send people to take over Dongshui City and inventory the supplies. Chen Lei dragged Ao Dong and took Chen Chu and some backbones to occupy the city lord's mansion. He immediately issued 2 orders from the city lord's mansion. Notify all the top executives of Dongshui City to come to the city lord's mansion for a meeting within 5 minutes. Bring Ao Qing here to give my boy a palm eye. 5 minutes later, a group of richly dressed, fat-headed and big-eared senior executives from Dongshui City crawled into the city lord's mansion. Now, immediately, prepare for the wedding of my boy and Ao Ching. Also, your family property is gone. If you have the slightest objection, you will die immediately. If you want to return to the top and use your abilities to prove to me, okay, you can get out. The frightened senior executive secretly glanced at Ao Dong, who was dying with a pig-headed face. They did not dare to have any objections, and immediately lay on the ground and rolled out. After a while, 2 7th-level female superpowers from Spark City walked in holding a woman. The woman looked to be in her 20s. She was wearing a long cyan dress, exposing her shoulders as white as snow, which highlighted her perfect figure. Her thick hair was tied up with a hosta. The whole person looks incredible, and more importantly, gives people an extremely fresh feeling. Let me go. The woman struggled with her hands as white as lotus roots, but to no avail. Are you Ao Ching? Chen Lei asked. Ao Ching's beautiful eyebrows wrinkled slightly. He glanced at the domineering Chen Lei, the handsome Chen Chu next to him, and the pig-faced Ao Dong lying motionless on the floor. Her pretty eyebrows furrowed deeper. Dad, she shouted to Ao Dong on the floor. Dad, what did you do to my dad? Ao Ching struggled. Chen Lei reached out and pulled Ao Dong up. It's a small thing, I just passed out. Come here, take him down and treat him. The two men carried Ao Dong out. Wait a minute, Ao Ching shouted. I am a wood element user, please let me check. Ao Ching bit her red lips and spoke. She knew her current situation, so she used, please. Chen Lei nodded. The two superpowers let go of their hands. Ao Ching walked to Ao Dong. His hands glowing with rich green light were placed on Ao Dong's body. After a moment, she withdrew her hand. Fortunately, it just looks serious on the outside, but in fact the injury is not very serious. For a strong man like Ao Dong, who is at the peak of the 8th level, he recovers very quickly. So the terrifying man in front of him still had his hands open. After Ao Ching took back his hand, the two female superpowers immediately controlled her, and Ao Dong was also dragged down. Chen Lei looked at Ao Ching with a smile, and then pointed at Chen Chu. This is my son. He will marry you today. Ao Ching turned to look at Chen Chu and looked up and down gently. Her calm attitude caught Chen Chu's attention. I heard that you already have many concubines. Ao Ching said. 20. Chen Chu replied. Then why do you want to marry me? Ao Ching's expression was extremely serious. Because you are good looking. Chen Chu said very simply. Ao Ching stared at Chen Chu's face carefully for a while. Then nodded. Okay, I'll marry you. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.